How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I'm not sure where to start. First of all, the DC takeover. Oh my goodness. This is a very interesting topic because of the responses. I can tell where someone is from a lot of times based on how they respond to certain things in this story. There's quite a bit there. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass seems to think that ICE has damaged the economy. Well, hey, maybe you shouldn't have illegal aliens prop up the economy. How about that? How about having Californians actually work and do jobs rather than importing slave labor? We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, the Mamdani-Style store in Kansas City, Missouri, that I reported on a few weeks ago, has now officially closed. They were pretty much at the end that there was no groceries in there. It was a whole big mess, and now they have officially closed. I wonder why. I wonder why a socialist type store in the neighborhood that cannot support it finally collapsed after no products, rotten products, an overall bad experience. I wonder why they closed. Maybe, just maybe, this is why Zohran is going to be a very, very bad pick for New York. Maybe that's why many of us say, hey, don't vote for this guy. He's a communist. Those ideas don't work. We'll talk about all those things and a whole lot more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing so far, if you enjoyed the content in general, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. There's so much going on. Oh my goodness. The DC stuff, listen, the DC stuff is hilarious because a lot of these people making excuses. The excuses I'm hearing for the DC crime, the coping, it's not really that bad and I feel safe. Man, please. DC been off the chain for a long time. It's not as bad as it was during crack war time, but it's still bad. It's still bad. And rather than doing something about it, like, I don't know, going a little bit tougher on crime rather than proactive policing, which is what should be going on, the leadership, they don't know what to do. They don't know what's happening. Hey, what is the chain of command? What's that? What that mean? The excuses made for that lady talking about, oh, well, she's accomplished. And listen, to not know what the chain of command is, to me, it's just flabbergasted. I'm really flabbergasted because I'm not a police officer, let alone in police leadership. I'm not military, current or former. I'm not a veteran. I'm not active. I'm not nothing. I'm just a regular person in my house. This is room in my house. And I know what the chain of command is. Most of you guys are going to know what the chain of command is. If you are in a leadership role in the police department, you're the chief and you don't know what that is. I just don't. And you know what? That right there is why a lot of these cities have problems, is because of incompetent leadership. It's not just DC. But all over the country, you get bad leadership. California, for example, has bad leaders. And some are going to say, oh, you want to point out DC because it's black run. Okay, what about Gavin Newsom? Is he black? Is he anything other than white? Nancy Pelosi, his aunt. Yes, his aunt. Is she black or anything else other than white? Please stop with the race nonsense. If you want to put race in it, you're retarded. And I want you to just get a little bit smarter, okay? Improve your IQ. And if you are a little bit slow, this ain't the class for you, okay? I want those who are willing to learn, who understand a little bit of something, and who know that what I'm saying is the truth. Bad leadership, bad policy yields bad outcomes. Zohran Mamdani, is he black? Although he says I'm African American because he was born in Africa. Okay, now he lives in America, trying to be funny, right? Trying to be funny, that's all that is. And I don't like stuff like that. Hey, you know what? If you are not black, do not call yourself African American, because we know what that term refers to. It refers to people like me. It doesn't refer to people from India or Europe like Elon Musk. It refers to black people who came here during slavery and are now Americans, or maybe some Africans who came later. It does not refer to whites and Indians and people like this. Okay, but back to Zohran. It's his policies that make me say he's not a good leader. Vivek Ramaswamy, I like Vivek. I like Vivek a lot. If he became the governor of Ohio, I think he would do a great job. Maybe even one day in the future, the president perhaps, but definitely the governor of Ohio, I think he'd be a great selection. Okay, not because of nothing else other than his mind, his policies, what he wants to do with the state going forward. That'll be the main thing. If you got bad leadership, you're going to have a bad outcome in the city as a result. We saw it in Los Angeles. We see it in DC. We see it in California as a whole. We see it all over the country in certain pockets, which is why a lot of the leftists who come from those failed liberal places want to come to conservative places. And of course, they stink the joint all the way up, okay? They stink up the joint. The California liberals, my goodness. I mean, you're talking about sweaty nerds, completely musty, no deodorant. They stink up the joint wherever they go. When the California liberals, not you guys who are conservative in California, shout out to you. Hey, some of the best conservative people I ever met are from California. So shout out to you guys. It's not about y'all. It's about your neighbor that goes to drag queen story time, who brings these adopted children with him, whose dog and the cat and the baby got monkeypox somehow, some way. I'm talking about them. Wherever they go, they stink up the joint. That includes, but it's not limited to, Washington, D.C. A lot of your D.C. liberals, I hate with a passion. They are from out west, and they settle right there in the Maryland, D.C., Virginia area. Okay, if they can't be right in D.C., they want to go on the outskirts. They want to go to Annandale. They want to go to Tyson's Corner. They want to go to Landover, Hagerstown, way out there, Bowie, Waldorf. They want to go way out far or kind of close. Even in West Virginia, y'all kind of ruining that out there, because I was up there for Tim Pool's podcast, which is in the Panhandle, not far from D.C., and y'all are stinking that joint up as well. You're stinking the joint up. And that's my point. It's about the policy, not race or nothing like that. But we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. The crime in D.C., listen, the crime, the homelessness, and you know what's funny about the homelessness? They say, oh, well, you're just trying to assault homeless people. Listen, you know the problem with the homeless? You know the reason why a lot of times they're homeless is because they choose to stay on the street rather than get shelter, rather than get an apartment. Not all the time, but the ones you see, the ones that are the issue, the ones that are the problem, that's typically their story. The ones you don't see are not the problem. They kind of off in the corner just trying to, just survive. I'm speaking of the ones who are always causing issues. These are drug addicts. These are people that don't blend with society, who do not want to follow rules. It's them. So if you don't want to take the shelter we're giving you or the drug help we're giving you, okay, well, check it out. You can't just be out here camping, harassing people, committing crimes willy-nilly. You are going to go over here. Listen, if I could just be the king, rule by fiat, do whatever I want to do, hey, man, we had gulags. We had all of that back in this country because we don't have time for these people out in the streets causing life to be a mess for everyone, regardless of where they come from, what their race is, what their name is, what language they speak. These people are a problem. So they got to do something with them. So I'm glad that there's a federal takeover of the DC Police Department. It's a long time coming. I'm reading some comments. Some are saying, well, look, there was a shooting out there at the CDC in Atlanta. Well, why isn't Trump federalizing Atlanta Police Department? It's just it's no information. Listen, DC is a federal district, which means it's under the jurisdiction pretty much directly of Congress, of the federal government. And the Home Act of 1973 gave them a little bit more autonomy. Before 1973, DC were not allowed to elect their own mayor. It was appointed by the federal government. And even still to this day, because it is a federal district, not a city or a state, it's a federal district for the federal government. Even still to this day, the laws that DC City Council passes must be approved by Congress before they get enacted. and or they're able to repeal these laws if they don't think they make sense, they don't match what they're trying to do. So they have a unique power over DC that they don't necessarily have over other places. They could do ICE raids and stuff like that all over the country because the federal government has the responsibility of managing the border and of immigration into the country, because you're coming into the country as a whole, not just California. You're coming into the United States. So that's the federal government's job. The same way it's their job to have jurisdiction and control over the federal district called Washington, D.C. They can't do that in Atlanta, Georgia, L.A., etc. Does it make any sense? But yeah, hey, I'm glad they've done this. Hopefully they can make some headway. And the main thing you got to do before we even get into anything else, the main thing they got to do, they need to go hard on the criminals. Go hard on the criminals. If you're not going to do that, then you're not going to get anything accomplished. You can arrest. Okay, cool. That's fine. But are we going to get some penitentiary time? Are we going to go make big rocks, little rocks? The carjacker who has carjacked 1,000 people in the past 2 months, will he go to prison finally? The 15-year-old juvenile offender who has robbed 25 people at gunpoint in 1 week, will they go to the penitentiary or nah? Like, what are we doing? In Virginia, I don't know about DC, but in Virginia, 14 years old, put it this way, 14 years old, you can be tried as an adult. You got weed, a weapon, all of that, you go into the penitentiary at 14. What is it in DC? Do you even get locked up? Is it a revolving door? These are the problems. Your liberals in a place like DC don't want to really prosecute crimes. Oh, it's racist. It's this, it's that. Ridiculous. The inaction in a place like DC on violent crime is causing life to be miserable, not just for the Capitol Hill conservatives, liberals, or whatever, not just for the government people in DC, but for our residents. And I want to say it's probably, once you take away the government people, it's majority black. And they are also victims of the crime. So do they not deserve to be in a place that's safe? Do they not deserve to be in a place that has proper leadership that can actually prosecute criminals? We're talking about deserve. Okay, people talking about I deserve a chocolate chip cookie from the federal government. Okay, if you're a federal district and you're under the control of the government, don't you deserve to have a place that's safe? Moderately, at least. I mean, good grief. Good grief. But shout out to you guys. I'm gonna appreciate y'all for joining. We're gonna get into all of that. We're gonna get into everything. We're gonna get into all the DC stuff and the ICE raids and a lot more. So again, shout out to you guys for being here. I appreciate you for rocking and rolling with me. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. And I was reading somewhere, somebody made a comment, not you, but somebody else was talking about, oh, well, the only reason why Trump federalized the DC police is because big balls got beat up. It's like, man, come on. This should have been happened. And then they say, well, he didn't do it on January 6th. He requested a National Guard be there for January 6th. He requested that, but was denied because you got to go through a process. He can't just make it so without the approval of Congress. He was able to get that with this situation because of the DC Home Rule Act. But in January 6th, he tried to get National Guard. He tried to deploy some troops to be able to help with security, but he was denied. And then the whole thing happens. And then they say it's Trump's fault when Trump was the one who was trying to prevent that from happening from the beginning, but was denied. But of course, the official media narrative is he's the one that caused January 6th. It was a coup. It was a takeover. What kind of coup or takeover comes from a guy who attempts to deploy the National Guard to prevent a coup or a takeover? Make that make sense. Hey, you telling me I'm trying to take over the government, but before this event even happens, I say, hey, let's get some more National Guard so we don't have an out of control situation. Nope, don't do that. Okay. But then when something happens, it's my fault. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. That's right, Do for Show. They denied him in writing. They denied him in writing. So it's like, how is it my fault when something happens? When I told you, when I requested more security, the National Guard, I asked for that and you refused to do it. So that's what that is. Oh, yeah. I saw that about the man that got beat up by them girls. I mean, that kind of stuff just happens in DC. And I've been going to DC for a long. I'm from Virginia, so I know about DC very well. I know about Southeast is where I would go because my uncle and him had a house right there in Southeast. Minnesota Ave, Benning Road, Minnesota Ave, Suitland, Anacostia, Cap Heights, all of that. Okay, that whole area, I know about that very well. Southeast, Northeast, Northwest, everything. DC's had problems for a long time, so I'm glad that they're trying to do something about it. And I think the residents, the locals who grew there, who did not fly there, they grew there, they didn't flew there. Those people, the natives of DC, they probably appreciate this as well. If they understand anything, if they have any kind of education, they understand this as well. The same way, I'm gonna play a video a little bit later, but it's the same way the mayor, Mario Bowser, walked around DC with Anthony Fauci during COVID trying to get people to get vaccinated. There was a black man, a resident, a native, I could tell by his accent. He says, no, I'm not going to do it. Y'all just came out with it like 9 months ago. The people who have sense in DC appreciate this move. Those who are the liberals from all over the country, all over the world, who work for the government right now, many of them may not understand this. They may not understand this because they don't understand the nature of the problem in DC, but natives do. So yeah, shout out to you guys. Hey, I'm gonna play that video a little bit later, Eugene. I got you. Remember that? I got that video in store. But before we get to the videos, shout out to you guys again for being the best audience anywhere on these interwebs, and shout out to the sponsors. Shout out to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these interwebs. Their link will always be in the description, or go to patriotpost.us, tell them that ABL sent you. Also, please go to the merch website, ablmerch.com. That is ablmerch.com. We got the hats, perfect timing, right? The no vaccine. We got the hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more right there on the website, ablmerch.com. Also, please go to the regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Go to the front page of the website. I have articles for each long video that I produce. And on each article, I have sources for the left and the right and the center, the Democratic, Republican, politically agnostic, local, national, international, whatever you want. I got it right there on the front page of the website, AnthonyBLogan.com. Also, please go to the contact page of the website, AnthonyBLogan.com/contact-us. There you'll be able to find my email address, my email address, my UPS box, of course, my social media accounts, my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, never going to call it X, TikTok. All my links are right there on the contact page of the website, AnthonyBLogan.com/contact-us. And as I always say, if you're ever wondering if you're conversing with me on the interwebs or not, you're probably not, especially if you're talking about some Bitcoin, foreign exchange, Forex, whatever it is. I don't know nothing about that. So don't get scammed in 2025. We don't have time for that. Some of y'all might try to still send me an email. And before you draft that email about how you got scammed by somebody, just don't. And remember what I told you right now today. But anyway, there's a lot we got to get into. There is so much we got to get into. Okay, let's start with Judge Jeanine talking about the crime and violence in D.C. If you guys don't know, Judge Jeanine Pirro is the U.S. attorney for D.C. Okay, let's just give the context right there. Check this out. And let's get some sound. There we go.
I see too much violent crime being committed by young punks who think that they can get together in gangs and crews and beat the hell out of you or anyone else. They don't care where they are. They can be in DuPont Circle, but they know that we can't touch them. Why? Because the laws are weak. I can't touch you if you're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old and you have a gun. I convict someone of shooting another person with an illegal gun on a public bus in the chest. Intent to kill? I convict him. And you know what the judge gives him? Probation. Says you should go to college. We need to go after the D.C. Council and their absurd laws. We need to get rid of this concept of, no cash bail. We need to recognize that the people who matter are the law-abiding citizens. And it starts today. But it's not going to end today. because the president is going to do everything we need to do to make sure that these emboldened criminals understand we see you, we're watching you, and we're going to change the law to catch you. And my final note is this. These kids understand that the jurisdiction is through the state attorney general, Brian Schwab. I did a poster of the young man from Doge who was beaten bloody with a severe concussion, a broken nose. And then I did a poster of what happens to those kids, because I can't arrest them, I can't prosecute them. They go to family court and they get to do yoga and arts and crafts. Enough. It changes today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Very well said. So shout out to Judge Jeanine Pirro. Again, she is a U.S. attorney for Washington, D.C. All right. So this is her jurisdiction. Now, listen, what she said was right on point. 17 years old. That's a minor in D.C. Man, please. They off the porch at 11, 10, 11. By the time they turn 14, they already are kind of like hardened criminals many times. So 17 years old, you could just shoot somebody on the bus and there's no problem, man, please. In Virginia, man, they're going to string you right on up, and rightfully so. I don't care what color you are, black, white, Puerto Rican, and Kenyan stripe. If you engage in that kind of criminality, you got to go, man. You have to go. Black folks, white folks, no folks want to live around that type of nonsense. And again, I keep talking about race here because they're going to say on the left, mostly, some on the right, but mostly on the left, they're going to say, oh, well, we can't be too hard on them because they don't know nothing. And nah. See, you got to go hard on these criminals, because if you don't, then you're giving them license to repeat the behavior. It's just that simple. If I could just shoot you on the bus and I get a slap on the wrist at best, then I know I could do it again and not really face any kind of serious problem. And again and again and again. That's why you get repeat offenders. You're going to have a very high recidivism rate when you don't punish the crime initially or on the subsequent times it happens. If you punish it immediately from the beginning, then you're going to have less crime. You know what? This is why I was talking about Jacksonville police. Shout out to Jacksonville police, led by black male leadership. Can I say that without being offensive? Yes, I did. Black male, not black female, but black male leadership, okay? These guys are able to kind of get it in check. The traffic stop video, that was a perfect example. Perfect example. Okay, we got to extract you. We're going to kind of rough you up a little bit. Not too much. We didn't really hurt you, but we're going to kind of rough you up a little bit just so you know, hey, you can't just barricade yourself in the car. And plus, it's not even going to be that big of a deal if you get arrested for a suspended license. You might pay a fine or something like that, but your best bet is to just have it so you don't get extracted, so you don't get roughed up, so it's not a really big situation. Unfortunately, he might get some money because of this whole industry they got going on with Ben Crump, but that's aside from the point. The point is you got to teach those lessons out on the street, because if you don't, they're never going to learn. They will never, ever learn. And it's going to be a very small minority of the community that do stuff like that over and over and over again. Anyway, I'm getting triggered because I already know it. You know what? If you got a place like that where it's soft on crime like that, you're 17 years old, someone that's a minor, man, please listen. If there's a place like that, I don't want to live there. I don't even want to go there. I don't even want to visit, because I'm not trying to have some 6'8", 17-year-old looking like Shaquille O'Neal pop out from the bushes and just assault me, rob me, or nothing like that. I'm not trying to have that happen, especially if I'm armed and he gets deleted and then they want to say it's my fault. Oh, he was a baby. This dude was as big as every NBA basketball player and football player combined. He was the Incredible Hulk. So what? He was 17 years old. He could have killed me immediately. So I killed him first. Now it's my problem. Anyway, I'm triggered. Okay, so let's go to CNN and see what they say about it. Okay.
Getting reaction from.
Give me 1 second here, and then there we go.
Getting reaction from D.C. council members.
We are, Pamela and Wolf. This coming into CNN from council member Charles Allen of the 6th Ward in D.C. His post is, quote, "The president taking over local control of MPD and putting the U.S. military onto the streets of D.C. under the guise of public safety is wrong. It's an extreme, outrageous, and dangerous move for our city and the safety of all of our residents." He's the first city council member to react to this whole thing. None of them had reacted really last week to this in any real measure. This is the first time a city council member has reacted and come out strongly on this. We're also reaching out to Mayor Muriel Bowser's office and the office of the Metropolitan Washington Police Department for their response. We started to reach out to them while this news conference was going on. No word back from them yet. The mayor has been fairly muted in her comments on this. She did speak out yesterday in an interview, but did not openly criticize the president for this. It's an extraordinary move. We have to point out, never before in American history has a U.S. president taken over control of the Metropolitan Washington, D.C. Police Department.
Let's pause. Now, they're gonna say that quite a bit. Oh, it's unprecedented, first time in history. Well, the possibility has only existed since 1973. So, because of the Home Rule Act, it only came about in 1973. So, when you say U.S. history, it's not just 1700s. Nah, it's from the 70s up until now. Let's just put it in proper context. I know the media hates context. It defeats their narrative often, but it's important to give context.
How is this going to work on the streets? How is it going to work from a command and control standpoint? That is a huge, huge question. And of course, his threat to do this in other cities, we'll see how that plays out. I think you got to see how it really plays out here first.
Right, and we should also note that he talked about moving the homeless population in D.C., right. Thousands of people.
Yes.
Far.
All right, so then that's that. They're talking about homeless population. And the main thing was, okay, you want shelter or treatment? If you don't want that, then let's go to the penitentiary. Real simple. Okay, and here is a lot of what the media will say. They want to bring up January 6th. I don't know about y'all, but I am sick and tired of hearing about January 6th. Okay, I am done. I do not care. I don't. I promise I don't. But let's hear from them.
And just as we go to break, I should note that the most violent moment in recent history in D.C. was January 6th. And it was an attack on the United States Capitol by a lot of people who were doing it in the name of Donald Trump. And it included, the people who were hurt included members of law enforcement.
Is anyone still buying this narrative? Even the liberals, like at a certain point, I figure even the liberals got to say, you know what? All right, that's enough. January 6th. I'm talking about that from how many years ago? It's been years. It's been years now. Meanwhile, we get episodes of leftist violence happening every day, But they were talking about one incident from years ago, which obviously was a bunch of feds involved and a bunch of leftists involved. Yes, there were some conservative people, but let's be serious about what really happened. You're talking about a guided tour through the Capitol for most of it. And the rabble rousers, many of them were proven to be feds. Okay, Ray Epps, how can you say, let's go into the Capitol on camera and then nothing happens to you, but people who didn't say anything like that had their lives turned upside down? Make it make sense. And they knew it was going to happen. That's why they didn't want to have the National Guard out there. That's why it got denied. They picked up the dude from the Power Boys, Enrique Tarrio, the day before January 6th, because he was out there and they knew he was out there. Why did they pick him up? Because they didn't want their asset to get involved with the whole January 6th situation. A guy who already told and was already a fellow informant, Nick Fuentes, another one, probably a Fed. Anyway, now this rhetoric right here from some of the residents who may not be very well educated, in my humble opinion, reflects what the news says, because that's their only outlet for information. That's the only place they really get the information is from the people on television. Okay, let's watch some of this, and you're going to see exactly what I mean when this woman speaks.
They have in mind.
You talking about the crime. The crime is when you let the people out that done messed up January the 6th.
He's acting out of spite. I don't know what for. I feel like he has something to prove.
I think it's important that we uplift those children and focus on why this is happening. You know, maybe we need to implement more programs. Maybe Trump needs to implement more programs and focus on that in the solution.
They don't know nothing, man. Listen, let the men take over. Let the men handle it, man. They just don't get it. I'm not even really mad at them. They just don't understand. They don't know. They're saying, I don't really know. See, the problem is you can't look at these people, these criminals, as children. They're not children. If you're 16 years old looking like you already been in prison before, listen, if you're 16 years old and you have an extensive rap sheet going back to when you were 11, okay, you're not going to school, you can't read, you're a violent criminal, you're not a child. You are a danger to society, a menace upon society. You are somebody who needs to get punished for what you're doing. Because it's not that many of you, but you are responsible for quite a bit of crime because you have a high recidivism rate due to the soft on crime policies from unaware and uneducated residents voting for it. Simple. It's so simple. Okay. Right. And we have another young lady talking. Where's the men at? Where are the men? That's my question. Shout out to the women. Okay. Shout out to all the ladies out there. Nothing against the women, but where are the men?
The president has been trying to provoke violence here, right here, in the black communities and in the brown communities, having ICE kidnap our neighbors, having the black community be harassed and profiled and want a response. We say, hell no, we won't go. Hell no, we won't go. We won't go. Hell no, we won't go. When we say we won't go, that means we're not going to those mass incarceration, into their prisons and enslavement. We won't go into their ICE, what do you call his beautiful centers that he got. We won't go to where alligators live. Hell no, we won't go.
See what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't be up there talking at all. You shouldn't be up there talking at all. There's no education right there. It's just emotion, TV, things you would just pick up. Okay, alligator Alcatraz. I don't know where the alligators live at. It's because you're just hearing things on TV. They drill it into your mind, and then that becomes what you will say, rather than there being any kind of formal education going on. I said it before. The chief problem in the community and among people, aside from the blacks, is a lack of education. And they just kind of operate out in the world without knowing much. And you have the enablers like this lady right here. This lady, the absolute worst. Okay, we got septum piercing, we got LGBT style stuff going on. These are the worst kind of humans that exist in the country, in my humble opinion. Okay, you find people like this, your white liberal saviors, you find them in California a lot. They kind of get produced in California. Do y'all have, is there a factory in California that produces these people? Is there a white liberal factory in Calabasas somewhere up in the hills? Okay, they get produced there, then they get dispersed all over the country, and a lot of them settle right in Washington, D.C. But anyway, let's hear how she enables the nonsense happening in the District of Columbia, shall we? Check it out.
All right, it's August 11th. I am outside Union Station in D.C., where folks on the ground are telling me that they are about to start rounding up unhoused people tonight. The folks here at the encampment in front of Union Station are handing out these whistles to give to unhoused folks. That way they have a way to call for help if they are kidnapped by federal law enforcement. So if you're in the area and able to swing by right in front of Union Station, they have tons of these. Bring them back to folks in your community so they have a way to call for help. If you are not in DC, I'm going to tag Free DC Project. They are an excellent organization helping the community here locally. Definitely follow them, support them if you can, and help spread the word, because this is how a fascist authoritarian regime starts. So I will be on the ground in DC reporting on the shit show happening. So stay tuned. All right, it's August.
Here we go. Yeah, another woman, super liberal, enabling the nonsense happening in the district. Look, I don't want to make it be about men versus women, but this person specifically, please return to the kitchen or go there for the very first time. Can you even boil water? I doubt it. You out there with whistles and whatnot, trying to disrupt the homeless cleanup, the homeless encampment cleanup. I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to live in a place like California where you have homeless encampments near me. The beautiful spots in California where the homeless aren't, great, fantastic, wonderful, ain't nothing like it in the world. But when you go down to some of these places, I don't want to have that anywhere near, especially in the district. Homeless encampments, and a lot of them, they be in these train stations or whatever, subway stations, acting a complete fool. Terrorizing people. Nah, man. Don't get in no whistles. Don't get on no whistles, man. No, all they gonna do is put some crack in that and go ahead and just beam the Scotty anyway. But anyway, let's keep on rocking here.
But do you?
Okay, this guy is a Chuck Schumer policy director. All right, let's hear his take. And in DC, if you guys don't know, you got different groups of people. You got the natives, you got the black community, you got others that have lived there for a very long time, and other little groups, but the main groups are the natives and those who came there to work for the government, because that's what DC is. In my opinion, I said it before, it's like a big plantation. But let's hear from, again, this is Chuck Schumer's former policy director.
But do you feel safe here?
I feel safe in this city. I live in a neighborhood.
Because I look over my shoulder every day.
Well, maybe you look over your shoulder, but I'll tell you something. Here are two things that could be done to make this city safer. $1.1 billion was stolen from D.C. in the last budget bill. Give us that money back. We are down 400 police officers from last year.
No, from last year, okay.
And 900 from our peak because stealing our money away. So let's get our local.
It had nothing to do with defunding the police.
No, it had nothing to do with defunding the police. It had to do with taking our money away, our taxpayer dollars here. If people are afraid to come to D.C., go to Disney World, get fat, eat French fries. I don't care. I've lived here 37 years. I am not afraid. I live in the city. I'm not afraid of this city. If you're afraid, go ahead. Leave your fear someplace else.
But do you?
Okay, so basically he's saying y'all soft. He's saying y'all soft. DC's not bad or whatever. You know what? DC is not safe. It's not. He could say that it is, but people lie all the time. People get on TV and lie to you with a straight face, lie to you with a smile on their face. They lie to you. DC is not safe. Okay, it is what it is. Now, I'm thankful he's not been injured seriously or nothing like that, beat up, shot, robbed, as far as we know. So shout out to you. You've made it. You're successfully okay. But my question is, what kind of neighborhood do you live in? Do you have private security? Like, what's really going on? Tell me the full story. Tell me the full story. Okay? DC has problems. Tell me something. Oh, go Disneyland. Man, please. Please. But, you know, when you living in the political world, you live separately from everybody else. You're not the same as the locals at all. You are not them. Let's please be serious. Now, here we have ABC. This is not Fox News. This is not Breitbart. This is not some conservative outlet, conservative quote unquote rag. Okay, let's hear what they got to say. Okay, check it out.
We've been talking so much about the numbers, and yeah, usually that's how you play devil's advocate.
Give me a second, because I got my mixer messing up on me. Give me one good second. All right, I think we back in business. Yeah, sometimes we hear that popping. It's just my mixer making and sometimes we hear the popping, my mixer messing up, so I got to restart. So let's go start from the top on this video about ABC talking about what's happening with the crime in DC.
We've been talking so much about the numbers, and yeah, usually that's how you play devil's advocate, is you talk about, oh, well, stats say crime is down. However, I can tell you firsthand here in downtown D.C. where we work, right here around our bureau, just in the past 6 months, you know, there were 2 people shot. One person died, literally 2 blocks down here from the bureau. It was within the last 2 years that I actually was jumped walking just 2 blocks down from here. And then just this morning, one of my coworkers said her car was stolen a block away from the bureau. So we can talk about the numbers going down, but crime is happening every single day because we're all experiencing it firsthand while working and living down here. We've been talking.
There you go. So it's a different story. The political guy, oh, no, it's totally fine. If you're scared, go to church, all this, that, and the third. But she's saying, I got jumped, people getting shot, they're getting deleted, all of that right by where we work. Right by where we work. The thing about DC, I'm going to say this right here. The thing about DC people, the political people especially, if their particular neighborhood relatively safe, then it's fine. But if down the street you got problems, oh well, it only matters when the problem happens to them specifically. Now, I wasn't saying that about her. I'm not saying the reason she's talking is because she got jumped. I'm just saying a lot of the political people who say there's no problem with crime will say the problem with crime when the crime hits them. When they become a victim, when they get beat up, the car gets stolen or whatever, then they say, oh, now it's a problem. Why wasn't it a problem when it happened to other people? Only when it happens to you? Not really a fan. Okay, now this show right here replaced Joy Reid's show. Now I don't know why they decided to make this show replace Joy Reid. I'd rather have Joy Reid than this funny, weird looking character over here. Okay. And Jonathan Capehart, black male at the Crown TV. They got the softest, weakest examples of black men on television on MSNBC. I hate it so much. These guys might as well wear full-on wigs and dresses and pretend to be women. These guys are so soft, it just makes me cringe. But this replaced Joy Reid's show, and they brought on the mayor of D.C., Muriel Bowser. She's been the mayor since 2015, so I guess they like her. But let's watch this.
One of the things that we have seen over and over from the president, from his team, Stephen Miller saying it's like Baghdad in Ethiopia. They seem to hold their harshest criticism sometimes for cities that are majority black and brown. Do you see that, and what do you think that means?
I think that I have been dealing kind of with this issue for a number of years. It's kind of easy fodder on the campaign trail. But now we're talking about governing, and my job is to focus on making sure our city is running well, and people enjoy a great quality of life. And I think we're doing a really good job. We do need the federal government's help, as I mentioned, because they have an outsized influence on our criminal justice system. We need more prosecutors. We need more judges. There are other ways to help. Even we want to rebuild our jail, and there are ways that the feds can help with that. But also just doing their part, cutting the grass, fixing the fountains, making sure that federal law enforcement is doing all of the policing that they can do. And I just have to say thank you to MPS, FBI, ATF, who've always worked cooperatively with us, and we expect that they will again.
All right, there you go. So she's admitting that they need the help from the feds. So that's the mayor. Again, that's the mayor of D.C., Muriel Bowser. Been the mayor since 2015. Now, of course, they're going to need the help. You see what's going on. Oh, and by the way, I got a trigger warning. I'm going to show you a picture of the one dude that was talking, the host dude with the funny hair. Okay, trigger warning. It ain't nothing crazy, but I'm giving you fair warning. Okay, you ready? All right, that's something right there. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I refuse to watch this dude on TV talking. The only reason I show him is because it was a clip featuring the DC mayor, and I wanted to hear what she had to say. But I'm not watching this dude. I'd rather watch Joy Reid all day long. Her and her funny Party City blonde wigs, I would take that any day over Irvin Johnson's son's best friend. But anyway, if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, back to CNN. This is going to be Abby Phillip. Yeah. And I'm not sure who the woman is. That might be SC Cup. I don't know who that is. But let's hear a little bit more about the whole DC situation. Was that Magic Johnson's boy? No, it's not him. But it looked kind of the same type of energy. Okay, might as well be besties. But anyway, again, this is going to be CNN with Abby Phillip, and that might be SC Cup. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think a few things can be true. One is that I think he's using this issue to distract for some other things. That doesn't mean it's a bad political strategy. I think it's a very good one. And the numbers can be what they are, but also people don't feel that way. And when it comes to two things, crime and the economy, feelings don't really care about your facts. And I can't tell you how profoundly stupid it is for Democrats to get up with their facts and their figures and their charts and their graphs and say, look, you're safe. Can't you read this chart, idiots? Why are you complaining? I'm showing you right here how safe you are, so shut up and move along. I don't have to tell you how profoundly stupid that is, because voters told you how profoundly stupid that was in 2024 when Democrats said, see these economic numbers? The economy's great. What are you complaining about? See these crime numbers? Crime's down. You're safe. See these immigration numbers? Obama deported way more. There's no migrant crisis. I can't tell you enough that politics is perception, and the numbers can be right, but you never tell voters they're wrong about how they feel. Congress.
Now look, she was doing good to the end. The issue with the numbers is that a lot of these numbers are false. The numbers don't point to an issue. you could say immigration is down, but you're not giving the full story. Okay. During the Obama administration, what kind of immigration was it? Was it like you get all these criminal aliens coming across, doing whatever they want to do? What was the level of migration? What was the impact under Obama versus what it is right now, or what it was under Joe Biden's 4 years? It was not the same thing. I lived through both. I was politically aware back during Obama from 08 on, and then from Trump and Biden and everybody. I've observed all the presidencies. The migrant crisis was a complete mess. 2020 to 2024, I've never seen it quite like that. It was crazy. So to compare them doesn't make any sense. The numbers are just selective. They try to make you believe a narrative based on the numbers that they create without looking at the actual reality that's happening on the ground. Not just the internet, not just social media, but what's happening on the ground. That is what people are going to go out there and vote for. All the swing states, everybody looked at what was happening in their actual area and said, you know what, we want to go a different direction. We don't like what you did. You can say whatever you want as far as the numbers, but I can feel the effects of your policy and I don't like it. I don't like it. So the numbers don't always matter. Especially when we know that you guys often cook the books. We know that for 100% certain. Okay, now back to the whole racism thing about the whole DC situation. Again, it's not about a race thing. It's about criminals doing whatever they want to do whenever they want to do it.
And I live in Washington. This is personal for me. Many people are frustrated with crime that we see, particularly committed by juveniles in the city of Washington. People are frustrated, Willie, that when they go to CVS to buy deodorant, that they have to get it from behind locked plexiglass, right? But the response here, and let me say this, right? These are not just random anecdotes. What we see in Washington Post polling, among others, is that roughly half of DC residents, mostly half of DC view this as a serious problem or an extremely serious problem. And I live in Washington.
Exactly. So shout out to him. Right on point. Great name, by the way, Anthony. Shout out to you. Okay. My alternate reality twin on TV. But nah, he's right on point. He's right on point, man. Like last time I was in DC many years ago, I'm seeing plywood on doors. I'm seeing broken glass. I'm seeing you got to go through all kind of security measures just to be able to get basic items. It's like, come on, man. Like the problem is that, again, when you don't prosecute, when you don't hold people accountable for their crimes, they tend to do it over and over. That is the issue. That's why you have so many security measures, and you don't have it like that all over the place in this country because people get held accountable when they commit crime. Okay, now this is going to be Simone Sanders over on MS13 DNC. All right, let's see what she got to say.
You don't think more police make streets safer?
No, Joe, I'm a black woman in America. I do not always think that more police make streets safer. When you walk down the streets of Georgetown, you don't see a police officer on every corner, but you don't feel unsafe. So what is it about talking about places like Southeast DC, right? Ward 8, if you will, that people say, well, we need more officers to make us safe. I think we have to rethink what safety means in America.
You don't think?
Okay, so look, Southeast, I know about Southeast very well. Me being from Virginia, I got family right there. Like I said, my aunt and uncle had a house right there in Southeast. Benton Road right there, Minnesota Ave right there, Pennsylvania Ave right there, all of that. Anacostia right there. I know about this area very well. Okay, and the issue with a place like Southeast is the criminals. It's always the criminals. It's not about them being black. It's the criminals who victimize other black people. Let me tell you a story. So my uncle, and this is my granny's brother now, so this is my great uncle. My uncle had his let me tell the story right. So my uncle's HVAC unit outside was stolen. Just stolen, and I'm sure it was somebody right in the neighborhood that probably see him a lot, another black person, okay? He had to get one of these cages put on it, you know what I'm talking about, that was like secured down into the ground, into the concrete to prevent it from being stolen. That kind of stuff happens in these areas. It's not about you're trying to persecute black people. It's that you have criminals in this area who are going to be black because the neighborhood is black. Okay, and you got higher levels of crime in these areas because a lot of what DC did to these people, no education, just kind of just let them out there. It's like, all right, slavery over with. All right, we'll deal with it. We'll kick the can down the road. The crime and violence and stuff in DC is not like other places. We got black folks all over the country. Me being from Virginia, we got a black community. It's nothing like what's happening in DC. It's different. So when people say, are you from DMV, from DC? No, no. Close, but not quite. We're not the same as them. We're not the same as them. So it's not about trying to attack blacks. It's about trying to get the criminals out of the way. A small piece of the pie, but too big of a number, too many crimes from that small group. And again, they gonna victimize black folks more than anybody else. Just like we all know, you're more likely to be killed by somebody that you know and or somebody from your same race. You got 48% of the murder victims in the country are black, despite us being 13% of the population, and 52% of the murderers are also black. So what does that tell you? The bulk of that 1530 statistic is black folks as the victim. You see? And because you got a high level of crime from this particular community, they're going to impact others at a higher rate, but they're going to impact nobody higher than their own people. So then when I get called the Uncle Tom and the sellout and whatnot for talking about the criminality in the black community, I don't understand, because how am I wrong for pointing out the criminality that's going to impact me more than anything else? It's going to impact you if you're a black person more than anything else. How am I wrong for pointing that out? I'm the pro-black that wants blacks to really be safe. Just because I know it's other blacks that are causing the problem does not make me an Uncle Tom. But anyway, now, there's some videos floating around of the police trying to enforce some broken window stuff. And they're going to say, oh, that's petty, that's stupid, but not necessarily. Let me just play this and then I'm going to keep on going. I got about 2 of them right here. Hold on. Let me just show this right quick. And let's go ahead.
How y'all doing today? Y'all staying in that trouble? You got your ID on you, chick?
No, I live right here.
Okay, cool.
It's a cigarette. Did y'all get a call or something about right here?
No, so we're doing checks, keeping everybody safe down here, right? Have you heard of the federal surge that Donald Trump's putting out?
No.
Right. You don't follow like Code 3, anything like that people are putting up? What's up? All right, so yeah, Trump's got all federal agencies kind of coming together for 7 days and going out, trying to stop the violent crime, all kind of stuff. So we're out here contacting people, talking to them, right? Quality of life offenses, smoking, drinking in public, right? Can't happen outside, right? Most people know that. Right? So we're contacting people, trying to advise them of the law so they learn, right? And then if there's other stuff going on where it turns into there's multiple agencies of somebody, there's a shooting and things like that. So there's extra hands as well, right? So we're just out here trying to inform people and educate people. It's not like we're trying to.
I mean, I get it. I totally get it. So they're trying to do the whole broken windows policing. Okay, you outside, you loitering, you smoking, drinking. They might ask for ID and stuff like that, because a lot of times when you do that, you're going to catch guys that got other stuff going on. But I think maybe they need to be trained a little bit more about how to do that, because if guys got a cigarette and you don't smoke no weed, then ain't no sense in really trying to approach them if they don't got an open container. But I get the sentiment. They're just starting. This video is going to be played and they're going to say, see, look, they're just harassing black people. But really, they are attempting to do what needs to be done, the broken windows policing. Because when you don't do stuff like this, you're not proactively policing. Therefore, you're going to have more crime and violence in the place. It may seem small and petty, but it is effective. It works. It works, which is why, being from Virginia, we know what it is. We already know what time it is. Like, smoking weed in the car, you a moron, because they will pull you over. Okay, you got 4 adults in a sedan. Y'all smoking weed with New York plates. We already know what you're doing. You're selling drugs from New York. Get out the car, hands behind your back. You're going to jail, because you already know what time it is. Okay, we're not trying to play games with people. We're trying to be proactive and make sure that the community the entire DC and the black community is safe. So again, they're going to show this and say, oh, they're being petty. But you already know that this needs to happen, because if it doesn't, then you're not participating in proactive police work. But look, here's another one they're going to show. Okay. You got Captain White Man right here hitting the cop with a hero sandwich, with a Subway sandwich. Okay, stupid stuff. Like, I don't care what color you are. You do something like that, you're gonna have to get arrested. Why would you hit the cop with a sub? And if you don't arrest the guy for hitting the cop with the sub, then it's gonna spark that same kind of behavior from other people. And then they could just hit cops with subs. Then it's going to be harder objects. Then it's going to be a bunch of conflicts with police, because the initial thing that happened that went viral, nothing was done and he got away with it. But let's check this out right quick.
Motherfucker! Oh! 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 It's fucking gun! Motherfucker!
Okay, so that's that. Now here's Judge Pirro talking about the situation. And then I read the comment. It said the first step is to inform. You got to inform people, because, again, a lot of the issue with a place like DC is lack of education. And a lot of these Democrat-run places, it's lack of education. People just don't know certain things, and they're not being taught, and they're not ever being taught, even throughout their criminal career, because they're always given slaps on the wrist for violent offenses. But let's watch this from Judge Jeanine about that whole hero sandwich Subway attack.
So President Trump has vowed to make D.C. safe and beautiful again. And as part of his effort to fight crime, he's bringing in our federal law enforcement partners like FBI, ATF, DEA, or Park Police, everybody to help the Metropolitan PD fight crime. And the president's message to the criminals was, if you spit, we hit. Well, we didn't quite do that the other night when an individual went up to one of the federal law enforcement officers and started jumping up and down, screaming at him, berating him, yelling at him. And then he took a Subway sandwich about this big and took it and threw it at the officer. He thought it was funny. Well, he doesn't think it's funny today because we charged him with a felony, assault on a police officer. And we're going to back the police to the hilt. So there. Stick your Subway sandwich somewhere else.
All right. So do y'all think that they're going to actually prosecute that? Because it's kind of a low-hanging thing, but I understand the sentiment. There needs to be some kind of accountability, because, again, if you just let stuff like that happen, it's going to keep on happening, and you're going to have no control over what's happening in the streets. So the prosecution for the felony offense, so the hero sandwich, it might not really stick, but you got to do something. This is how you begin to change the culture in the actual place. Now, here's another one. Somebody got pulled over, 14th Street, Madison Drive Northwest. It says a total of 6 Park Police, Homeland Security, and other federal officers are conducting what appears to be a traffic stop of a driver with Maryland plates. Now, they say it's 6 performing this stop. I'm not sure if they all pulled her over, or if it's a checkpoint. It could be a checkpoint, but let's watch some of this. And then someone did some sleuthing on the license plate and found some interesting facts. All right, let's watch. So not much going on there. I'm gonna turn the sound down. You could pretty much see the scenery. You got a lot of people doing the stop. Now they're gonna say, oh, that's overkill. But watch this. Okay, so how many tickets do we need, though? How many speeding tickets do we need? Okay, $28,700 in tickets. Okay, and you got Alabama Ave, Potomac River, okay, Capitol Street, Southern Ave, okay, speed 16 to 20, 11 to 15, 16 to 20, bus lane, unauthorized vehicle, 16 to 20, 21 to 25. How many tickets are we going to have before we say, all right, maybe the person is a problem driver. Maybe they're a problem driver and they always get pulled over. Maybe that's what's going on. And you would think after the first few tickets, they will learn, but people just don't get it. And a lot of the reason is because those tickets, it's no big deal if you don't pay. You just let the balance keep going up. and nobody ever learns anything. Again, you got to enforce the laws so people don't violate. And when you don't have any kind of law enforcement, then you're going to have a more dangerous environment altogether. I'm just going to totally ignore the speed limit. And then one day, boom, a pedestrian get hit, go tumbling, and now we got a problem. Now we got somebody dead or seriously injured. And then everybody's like, oh, well, why didn't anybody do anything? Where's this and where's that? Well, you have laws, but we got to enforce the laws. We have to be able to enforce them. Okay. Yeah, the cameras are what are getting that person, but there's no enforcement of the law because you can just have this big balance of tickets and not pay. And there's no penalty. Okay. Now, in 2023, there were 958 carjackings in Washington, D.C., with 2/3 of them involving guns. Okay, let's watch some of this here.
Night about 7:15, a man died right here. And he died in a completely preventable crime. An armed carjacker took his Chrysler 200 and killed the guy. Last year, there were 958 carjackings in this city alone, 77% of which involved guns. The police closed 260 of those cases, resulting in 173 arrests. And here's the shocking statistic. Everyone knows this is true. Over 60% of those people who were carrying guns, carjacking cars in this city, were teenagers, 15 and 16 years old. And how many of them?
Wait a minute, let's go back to hear this head again.
Over 60% of those people who were carrying guns, carjacking cars in this city, were teenagers, 15 and 16 years.
60% of the carjackers were between the ages of 15 and 16. You see what I'm talking about? So when they say that you're still a minor at age 17, I'm like, what are we talking about? 2/3 of the carjackings involve guns. 60% of the carjackers were between 15 and 16 years old, which means that these 15 and 16 years old people, these men are using guns to carjack people. How is that somebody that should be charged as a juvenile? How is carjacking with a pistol at 16 years old considered a juvenile offense?
Old. And how many of those teenagers did the U.S. Attorney Matt Graves send to adult court to be held accountable as adults for their adult crime? Hardly any. But you have a U.S. Attorney has a 67% declination rate of cases. That means cops bring good cases into that office where I used to work as a federal prosecutor. 67% of those cases get declined because of Matt Graves, and he's a criminal's best friend. Last night.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That is exactly what I'm talking about. You soft on crime. You're not prosecuting crimes that need to be prosecuted. You got a lot of repeat offenders, juveniles with guns. See, that's what I'm talking about. And a lot of the criminals are hurting their quote unquote own people, the other blacks. Okay, let's keep on going.
That's not minimum.
We got a little bit more from Common News Network about the carjackings. Hey, Fire Mission says, I thought guns were illegal in D.C. That's what I thought. I don't know how these 15-year-old boys are getting guns. I thought that it was illegal. And I thought that it was also illegal for a minor to possess a weapon, even if they were legal in the state to purchase. And I thought that it was illegal to carjack somebody. And I thought that it was illegal to kill somebody too. That's what I thought. So I don't know why it's happening. I don't really get it, right? I'm being sarcastic, obviously, but let's watch this from Common News Network.
Let's not minimize the fact. I mean, Washington had 498 carjackings last year. That's way too many. There were 190 different killings last year in Washington. Our crime and murders are 6 times what New York is. Washington is not near safe enough. The D.C. Police Union supports what's happening here. The federal government does have an obligation to help keep the federal capital safe. And I don't think we ought to distract ourselves with what's really at stake here, and that is D.C.'s not safe enough, and the president's trying to make it safe.
Yeah, but I agree D.C.'s not safe enough.
Let's not minimize the facts. I mean, Washington...
There it is. I mean, everybody is able to understand what's going on. Everybody gets it except for a select few people. Okay, now here is Caroline Levitt talking about what's going to happen. And then we got to get into the police chief. Oh, we got to get into that. And I got challenged to play the full clip of the police chief in full context. And we're going to see if the full context changes your mind or if it doesn't. But let's go to Caroline Levitt. She's going to talk about what's happening to the homeless where are they going to go? Because they're doing a homeless crackdown as well.
The Metropolitan Police Department, with the support of the new federal agencies who have been surging on the streets of the District of Columbia, are going to enforce the laws that are already on the books here in Washington, D.C. For far too long, these laws have been completely ignored, and the homelessness problem has ravaged the city. So D.C. Code 22-1307 and D.C. Municipal Regulation 24-100 give the Metropolitan Police Department the authority to take action when it comes to homeless encampments. So homeless individuals will be given the option to leave their encampment, to be taken to a homeless shelter, to be offered addiction or mental health services, and if they refuse, they will be susceptible to fines or to jail time. Again, these are pre-existing laws that are already on the books. They have not been enforced, which is part of the reason for this federalizing of the National Guard to bring in this assistance for law enforcement. While we are targeting criminals and trying to remove criminals off of the streets, we also want to make DC safe and beautiful, and that involves removing mentally disturbed individuals in homeless encampments as well. So we will be using these regulations and code that already exists to clean up our streets.
There you go. So you already got laws on the books. So is it racist to enforce laws on the books? I hope not. Now let's get to Pamela Smith, the DC police chief. Okay, now we have a press conference. They're talking about the federal takeover. And during the press conference, a reporter asked, hey, do you know what the chain of command is? What is it now since we have this thing with the federal government? What is the chain of command? Okay, let's watch this, the shorter version, and then we're going to watch the longer version to see if it changes what your perception of the short version is.
That's what the chain of command is now?
What does that mean?
Well, is it Pam Bondi speaking to the mayor, speaking to you, or how does this work?
So the executive order is clear. The president has requested MPD services, and our home rule charter outlines the process. The president designated Attorney General Bondi as his proxy to request services through me.
Okay, now the chain of command, to answer the question, Caroline Levitt said it. She said that the chain of command is President Trump first, then the Attorney General Pam Bondi, and then the DEA Administrator Terry Cole. That's how it goes. 1, 2, 3, and then down to DC. But that is chain of command coming from the federal government as far as the DC takeover, with the federal takeover the DC police. That's how the chain of command is. She was asked a question and said she didn't know. Now, I'm going to show you guys the fuller video to see if what I showed was out of context and it was clickbait and rage bait. Let's just watch it, and you guys can let me know. Give me your honest opinion. All right, let me start from the top, and let's get full sound so we don't miss anything. All right, let's go ahead and check it out.
We have been working collaboratively. I think this is going to be a good effort. It's going to be an effort that's supported by both teams, the Metropolitan Police Department, as well as our federal partners. As you know, we work daily with them. What we've done at this point is we have provided the team, the administrator, with a strategic plan on how we will provide resources around our city. I think it's something that is doable. We know that we have to get illegal guns off of our street, and if we have this influx or enhanced presence, it's going to make our city even better.
Chief, what's your role in all this?
I am the Chief of Police for the Metropolitan Police Department, and being the Chief of Police, I am certainly the one who champions to ensure that we reduce violent crime across our city.
Are you responding? Are you answering to Terry Cole?
I answer to Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Chief,
let me just say this: let us not have any controversy with that, okay? Because I know people want to build upon and create division. We're here to work together with our federal partners, and that's what we're going to do. I won't go into the details and the devils of our operation at this point, but you will see Metropolitan Police Department working side by side with our federal partners in order to enforce the efforts that we need around the city.
Can you tell us what the chain of command is now?
What does that mean?
Well, is it Pam Bondi speaking to the mayor, speaking to you, or how does this work?
Okay, so did the fuller video with more context change your opinion of the shorter video? Did it? And you heard him ask right there. He was like, well, who do you answer to? Is it Terry Cole? Didn't I just tell you that the chain of command is President Trump, Attorney General Pam Bondi, DEA Administrator Terry Cole? 1, 2, 3. So, of course, the reporter knows this. He's asking her, hey, do you report to him? Is that how it works? And then when she said, well, I report to the mayor, the next question is, okay, what is chain of command? How does it work? Does it go Trump, Bondi, Cole, the mayor, Mario Bowser, and then you, Pamela, the chief of police? Is that how it works? That was a question. I knew what the question was without even knowing the full context. I knew that he was asking, since we are having the government take over the DC police, what is chain of command? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, how does that really work? Okay. So y'all let me know. Do you think the full video changed your opinion of the original one? Y'all let me know. Now, for me, I don't want to poison the well here by asking you the question and giving you my answer, but y'all know how I feel. It didn't change nothing. Really, all it did was just confirm exactly what I said, because he was talking about a chain of command, specifically Terry Cole, the DEA administrator. He said it. That's part of the chain of command right there that Caroline Levitt said. So Caroline Levitt knows, the mayor knows, the reporter knows, I know, but somehow the chief of police doesn't know. And I'm to believe that she just knows what a chain of command is, but for some reason didn't say anything about it. For some reason said, what is that? And it was funny because I'm reading comments on my video. Somebody tried to gaslight me and said, well, she told him, what do you mean? She did not say, what do you mean? She said, what is that? That's different. What do you mean could mean, well, be more specific about your question. Chain of command internally, an MPD in DC, or a chain of command as far as the federal government. But she didn't say that. She said, what does that mean? Which means chain of command, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. And again, if you're just a regular normie and you're not in politics, you're not chief of police, maybe you don't know what the term chain of command means. If you're never military or nothing like that, you're just a regular hot dog eating normie, maybe you don't know what that means. But if the reporter knew, why does a chief of police not know? Isn't that your job to know what's happening with the DC Police Department, with MPD? I mean, what in the world? What does that mean? That's right, Mauricio. That's what she said. I mean, listen, the incompetence in leadership in many of these places is a big piece of the problem. It's a big piece of the problem. You know, they want to champion her because she's a black woman. I don't care what color you are, what gender you are. If you're a black woman and you're a great police chief, you have a brilliant mind, then fantastic. You shouldn't be put into a position just because of your identity. You should be put there because you're the best person available for the job, who'll be the most effective. That should be why you're put there, especially if you have a public safety role. I don't want a public safety official to be there because of their identity, because it's going to jeopardize my safety. And who wants that in the city? Who wants that? Now, remember the video I talked about in the beginning of the stream? Mario Bowser, the mayor, who was right there next to the police chief, Pamela, what's her name? Pamela Smith. Now, let's go back to right around COVID-19 time. This might have been 2020, 2021, when Mario Bowser was going door to door in DC, trying with Anthony Fauci, trying to get DC residents to get to Fauci-ouchie. Alrighty. And this is one of the all-time classic videos anywhere on the internet. If you have not seen it before, you're in for a treat. If you have, well, enjoy. Again.
People in America are not settled with the information that's been given to us right now. So I'm not going to be lining up taking a shot or a vaccination for something that wasn't clear in the first place. And then you all create a shot in miraculous time. It takes years to create vaccination.
Well, it used to take years.
Okay, it used to.
You know how many years were invested in this approach? About 20 years of science to get us to be able to do it.
20 years is not enough. And 9 months is definitely not enough for nobody to be taking no vaccination that you all came up with.
The only reason I'm talking to you right now, as close as we are, is that I've been vaccinated.
Right.
But if it allows thousands of people like you don't get vaccinated, you're going to let this virus continue to percolate in this country and in this world.
Something like the common flu then, right?
And it's
much more serious than the flu.
Well, the flu kills a lot of people annually too.
You know how many people died of the flu the last year? I mean, not this year, virtually none, but the previous year, about 20 to 30,000. You know, how many people have died from COVID-19 in the United States? 600,000 Americans.
Well, the number that you all giving that died, that's once again, that's you all's number.
You gonna pass?
Yeah, definitely. Because when you start talking about paying people to get vaccinated, when you start talking about incentivizing things to get people vaccinated, it's something else going on with that. Something else going on.
It is something going on.
It's something else.
You're right. But I'm glad millions of people like me and most everybody here didn't get an. You know what their incentive was? Protecting their health and protecting the city. But I won't keep you anymore.
It's okay, because my incentive, y'all campaign is about fear. It's about inciting fear in people. You all attack people with fear. That's what this pandemic is. It's a fear. It's fear, this pandemic. That's all it is.
Hand sanitizer. Fauci, he was a mess. That whole time was so cringe. It was ridiculous. But shout out to my man right here out there in DC. Okay. That's what I'm talking about right there. A DC native, a real DC person who understands what's happening. They don't like the bad leadership either. He stood up to not only the mayor, but also Anthony Fauci right in their face. So, hey. Again, this is an older video from 2020, 2021 COVID era. And it still stands like it came out today. That is a timeless video. And it shows just how incompetent they were, talking about some, oh, well, I got vaccinated for my grandmama, man, please. All of that, all of what they said right there was false. All of what he said was correct. It took 9 months. I don't want it. You talking about incentivizing. He was right completely, and all of them were wrong. All of them, all these leaders were wrong, and not much has changed right now today as far as leadership. That's the issue. The key, not just the mayor of DC, but also a guy like Anthony Fauci leading the whole vaccination effort. Anyway, I'm getting triggered. If you like what you're hearing thus far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay, we got quite a few more things to cover here. We got quite a few things more to cover. Now, this is going to be about the Democrats who fled. Democrats who fled Texas because they didn't want to have the redistricting vote go forward. Well, now they got to come back. And I think that they are going to come back pretty soon. As I said in my video, it was just temporary. Just a little song and dance, dog and pony show at best. Let's check it out.
Multiple sources tell ABC News that Democratic lawmakers who left Texas to block new congressional maps from being voted on will return to the state soon. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says he will call another special session to vote on the maps if the House fails to reach a quorum again on Friday. President Trump and other Republicans say the new maps would likely give them 5 more seats in Congress. Now, California Governor Gavin Newsom, a Democrat, is vowing to draw new maps there in California that will, quote, end the Trump presidency. ABC News political director Avery Harper is here for more on this. So, Avery, what's the latest on these Texas Democrats? Why come back now?
Right. I think that they feel, and we know from the multiple sources that have told us, that they have accomplished their mission of delaying and derailing this first special legislative session.
How was that a mission? Like, what did you actually accomplish? You delayed it, okay, and it's still going to go through. So what was the actual purpose? To get some money, to try and fundraise off of this, to try and get reelected? I don't really understand. Look at us. We're really trying to protect democracy. Vote for us again. Next time you got to go out there and vote. And remember what we did.
That Greg Abbott called in Texas. They say that they could come home as soon as this weekend, and they feel like they have also sparked national outrage for these efforts to redistrict mid-decade for explicitly political reasons. Like you mentioned, the Texas Governor Greg Abbott, he is going to call another special session on Friday. And so it's possible that we could see this all reset the clock. And we do know that Texas House Democrats, the legislators in that state who have fled the state, they say that they're going to be issuing demands for the special session, the second special session that we're expected to see called on Friday.
What would these new maps mean for the balance of power?
That's enough of that, but you get the idea. So, yeah, now they're gonna come back after a little vacay, and in their hotel rooms, hotels, motels, Holiday Inns all over the country. Y'all let me know. What did they accomplish? Did they accomplish anything? Am I right when I say it didn't accomplish anything? Maybe they get some attention. Maybe they be able to fundraise, but it didn't accomplish much beyond that. Y'all let me know. Okay, y'all let me know. Now, we got Bernie, okay, the pawpaw, Santa Claus. Santa Claus has been replaced with Bernie Sanders, and a lot of the young people especially. Now, here he is talking about the reason why Kamala lost, okay? This is funny hearing him talk about why Kamala lost. It's pretty obvious why, but everybody got their opinion on the left. Let's go ahead and hear from Santa Claus himself, a.k.a. Bernie Sanders.
You said the Democratic Party has turned its back on the working class. You'd said something pretty tough when you were speaking to this crowd about Kamala Harris.
One of the reasons, in my view, that Kamala Harris lost this election is she had too many billionaires telling her not to speak up for the working class of this country.
Ouch.
Well, no, I don't think that's, I like Kamala, she's a friend of mine, but her core consultants, were heavily influenced by very wealthy people. How do you run for president and not develop a strong agenda which speaks to the economic crises facing working families? You have more income and wealth inequality today than we've ever had. You have 60% of our people living paycheck to paycheck. You got a healthcare system which is broken and dysfunctional. And despite spending so much, we're the only major country not to guarantee healthcare to all people. How do you not talk about those issues?
All right, there we go. So, Bernie, first of all, a little bit of context. Bernie Sanders is 83 years old. He'll be 84 September the 8th. He was born, 1941, if I'm not mistaken? Let's double check on that. Yeah. September 8th, 1941, Bernie Sanders was born. Now, the reason why Kamala lost is because people didn't like her. People didn't like Kamala back when she ran the first time in 2020. She came in dead last behind Amy Klobuchar, like Muhammad Ali, shaking, jittering, all type of sickly lady. She beat Kamala. Pete Buttigieg, him and his husband, with their adopted kids, they beat Kamala. Joe Biden at 1,000 years old, the Crypt Keeper beat Kamala. Everybody beat Kamala in 2020. So why did it make sense for you to put Kamala next to Joe Biden, knowing full well that Joe Biden could not run 2 times in a row? He was going to be one and done from the beginning. Logically, it would have made sense for them to put Joe Biden with someone who was competent. But of course they didn't. They were trying to get Kamala out of the presidency before the actual, before it came time for the convention. Again, kicking the can down the road. We'll do with it later. Let's get him in office. Put that so-called black lady there who's not black. Let's just put her in there because he'll get a lot of the vote that way. And let's get him in there and we figure it out once we get there. And when they got there, oops, now we got to do something about this lady. And they couldn't. And they ran her. And of course, she failed because she's always failed when trying to become the president. She's always failed when trying to gain the people of this country. You could be an attorney general in California. Look at Gavin Newsom. Look at Nancy Pelosi. Look at Maxine Waters. You can be a bad politician over there because you got enough idiots over there on the left who are going to vote for her. But when you just zoom out to the entire country, it's not that same way. They knew she was going to lose. It's not about listening to billionaires. That's his shtick about hating rich people, although he's very rich himself. But it didn't even apply here. She was just bad. She was just terrible. Now, speaking about those who were just bad and terrible, and it's not really anything else, we got Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, talking about, Trump is afraid of the intellectual prowess of black men like me. All right, let's go ahead and check this out. Okay, fine. Again, this is going to be the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson. Let's go ahead and let it rock.
Okay, fine. Since you are begging, I do believe that Donald Trump is intimidated. I know. I think. Okay, no interruption. So let me just answer that. I do appreciate you begging. So I would just say it like this, that the president has always been intimidated by the intellectual prowess of black men. And so, of course, he would speak in those petite and puerile terms because, okay, fine. Since
now, I don't know what the context was. I don't know what Trump said, but really, Okay, so what black man has President Trump expressed a fear of? Like tell me that. Because as far as I can remember, I'm probably his same age. Me and him, probably about the same age, in our 40s, something like this. How old is he? He might be a little bit older than me, actually. Brandon Johnson, age 49. So we in the same ballpark. He's a little bit older than me, but we're still in our 40s. Anyway, how many black men has President Trump said something negative about? I mean, you tell me this. What black man was he been afraid of intellectually? I'm just trying to figure it out. And also, when I was coming up, the same as you, Brandon Johnson, Trump was always seen as one of us, as a black person. He was an honorary black person, hanging with Muhammad Ali and Rosa Parks and Mike Tyson, even Puff Daddy back in the day. 50 Cent with G-Unit, Tony Yayo, all of them. He was there. He was part of us. He was on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. President Trump was always seen as a friend to the black community. Always. Even when we didn't deserve it. In the case of Omarosa, look at what Omarosa did to Trump. President Trump was so nice and so welcoming to Omarosa, and she treated him like garbage, treated the White House like garbage, had an unauthorized wedding and stuff like that on the White House grounds. It was a mess. Trump is a friend to us, always has been, and in my humble opinion, always will be. And it's weird hearing people like this say that he is not and that he wasn't. I don't understand. Now, speaking about people who are not friends to the community, you got Karen Bass, the Hispanic woman who pretends to be black. Now, here she is talking about ICE raids have damaged the economy of Los Angeles.
Seen the chaos and cruelty of immigration raids in the city. We have seen how they have impacted families. It destabilizes a community, but we are not going to allow this administration to destabilize our great city.
And it's not high taxes, crime, or regulation. Far-left Mayor Karen Bass blaming ICE raids for putting a huge dent in the city's economy. Here to react,
So, what do y'all think? Do y'all think that, hold on, give me a second.
DHS Secretary.
Do y'all think that it is telling when you admit that the ICE raids have damaged your economy, you're using the illegal aliens to prop your economy up? That's what you're doing. You've incentivized Californians to not work. You allow them to not work, and you bring in the migrants to actually do the work. So the people pay the migrants to work for these very low wages and so-called undesirable jobs. That's kind of what's going on. So now that you don't have those migrants, now people got to work. The horror, the absolute horror. Now, speaking about being afraid and the horror, this man, the white man here says that if you're an ICE agent, when President Trump is over, they're coming for you. All right. That's what he says. I don't take him seriously, but let's go ahead and watch.
This message is for all the ICE agents out there today. When Donald Trump's reign of terror is over, we will be rounding you all up and putting you in jail. We're going to raid and destroy your homes. We're going to handcuff you and take you away in front of your families for breaking the Constitution of the United States of America. That's why we hold cameras to your face, so that we can have facial recognition for when Donald Trump's out of office. Because the tables are gonna turn on you. Me personally, I'll fight a fucking ICE agent. There's nothing illegal of that. They are hiding their faces. They could be criminals. I'll take my chances in court. Fuck around and find out. Have a nice day. This message.
Okie dokie, there we go. So what do y'all think? Do y'all think this man right here is gonna get into some action? Some fisticuffs and whatnot? Bro, I don't think you want to do that. I don't think you want to do that. Speaking as from the unk generation, from one great beard to the next, you're not as young as you think you are. These ICE agents will completely, they will stomp you into the finest of wine. They will stomp you into a whole wine cellar. All right. You're going to be a winery when they're done with you. So I suggest you don't do that. Also, you will go to the penitentiary to make big rocks to little. Just because there's no more Trump does not mean that the conservatives have gone away. It does not mean that law and order has gone away. There's still going to be accountability and you can be held accountable. So don't do that. I beg you, don't do it. But hey, if you must, don't say I didn't warn you. Hey man, when you look like a whole bottle of white wine, red wine, whatever kind of color wine, don't say ABL ain't tell you to not go for it with your plan. Okay, running his mouth, exactly, Kevin. Running the big, running his pothole right there. Now look, Zohran. I did a story about 3 weeks ago or so about a grocery store in Kansas City, Missouri, that was just like what Zohran Mamdani had imagined for New York City, and it was struggling real bad. But now that store is closed, of course, because Zohran's ideas are not going to work. Let's just show what Zohran was saying before. Then we're going to show this store in question when it was still open, and then we're going to show it closed, okay? Let's go ahead and throw it on the screen right quick. Again, this is just going to be a recap, and then we're going to get to the update.
Grocery prices are out of control. The cost of eggs and milk has skyrocketed. Some stores are even using dynamic pricing, jacking up the cost over the course of a day depending on what they can get away with. It doesn't need to be this way. I'm Zohran Mamdani, and as mayor, I will create a network of city-owned grocery stores. It's like a public option for produce. We will redirect city funds from corporate supermarkets to city-owned grocery stores, whose mission is lower prices, not price gouging. These stores will operate without a profit motive or having to pay property taxes or rent, and will pass on those savings to you. Grocery prices.
All right, there we go. So great grand idea, I suppose, from Mamdani, but we all know that it's not going to work. This is communist, socialist talking points. We know they don't work. And when you start attaching communism to food, you're going to have starvation. Every single time it works the exact same way. There's never any exception. Maybe for a while you have a little bit of, but ultimately it's not going to work. Okay. Ultimately it's not going to work. All right. Now, here's the store in question. Oh, I got another picture right here. Oh, no. Here we go. All right. So here is the store in question that I was talking about in Kansas City when it was still open, barely. You see the shelves empty, and I'm sure the food in there, I'm not going to want to eat it.
It's clear this Sunfresh at 31st and Prospect is struggling. This is the first section people see when they come in. There's barely any produce. A lot of the coolers and shelves around the store look the same way, empty. So shoppers have been asking us, if the store isn't closing, then where's all the food? A rotten smell comes through the door, and anywhere you turn, you'll see products that need to be restocked. No hot food or deli.
I watch people walk in and walk out.
The grocery store has received financial assistance from the city, but has been unable to keep those shelves stocked in an area that in the past has often been referred to as a food desert.
Open. Now that store, the Mamdani model out there in Kansas City, Missouri, has closed officially.
I don't know.
They spent $18 million to keep it open, but of course it failed. Like anybody with a brain, anybody with a little bit of history of a little bit knowledge of history will understand that it was going to close. It was destined to close.
I don't understand. We need this store. We do.
Alicia Batson shopped here on Monday and was going to come back here for groceries today. As soon as our interview was done, she started to cry. Part of the reason why she was so emotional may be because of what she told us in the first 30 seconds of our conversation.
What are we supposed to do as a community? Where am I going to go now? Where am I going to go get stuff for my kids? I don't understand.
Well, look, I mean, I understand that she might feel a certain way, but for real, the store was not suitable to shop at before it closed. And I'm sure there's a Walmart within 10 minutes of you. Just go to Walmart like everybody else. Like, there's other options. You got your car right there. So just get in your car and drive to Walmart. That's your option. Okay. They tried to put this store in the community, and they probably tried more than once. The community cannot sustain the store. Therefore, you got to go a little bit further out. Okay. I don't consider it to be a food desert because, like I said before, okay, in Virginia, they say Berkeley and Norfolk is a food desert. It's not a food desert if you could drive 10 minutes to a Kroger. If you could drive 10 minutes literally down the street, because you got one street at the one part of the street you're in Berkeley, and the other part you're like closer to South Norfolk, closer to like Chesapeake, Greenbrier, that area. The one street you go down is the same street, Atlantic. Atlantic is in Berkeley, and it goes down to South Norfolk and past it. Right there at the end of Atlantic is in North Battlefield. The Kroger is right there. It takes 10 minutes, not a food desert. A food desert, in my opinion, is no food like an hour around you, 30 minutes around you, not 10 minute, not a 10-minute drive. Anyway, and speaking about Mamdani, let's talk about his matter of fact, I ain't gonna play this because I'm not quite sure. Okay, yeah, I ain't gonna play that. We good. Let's keep moving because I might do a video about that Mamdani situation with the rent and all of that, but I got to do some more research on it. Okay. Now we got some folks that have some sense out in the world who understand what's going on with the Democratic Party. Check this out.
Somebody look at this. Somebody look at this. The whites. Look at the whites. The kids in Baltimore cannot read, y'all. The kids in Baltimore can't read, but the whites is out here protesting Trump. The kids in Baltimore are getting shot dead. The kids in Baltimore are getting shot dead, and the whites is out here. Look at the whites. The whites is out here protesting Trump. Did you know that there was murders down the street? Y'all protesting Trump. Y'all ain't got nothing else to protest about? Y'all murder everywhere. Okay. So the whites, they came out here. Instagram loves y'all. The whites came out here to protest in Baltimore about Trump. Ain't that something, y'all? The whites can protest about anything else, and they choose to protest Trump.
All right, there you go. So kids in Baltimore can't read. Like, there's a serious problem with the education system, crime, violence, drugs, all of that happening. Not only among the blacks, but among the whites and other people too. But let's protest Donald Trump. Let's protest him because, God forbid, President Trump wants to get the National Guard activated out there, give them some federal resources and help with the crime. God forbid he do something like that for a Baltimore, for a DC or whatnot. It's crazy because the left will say that President Trump is unfairly targeting these cities because they're black or you have a large black population. Meanwhile, he's trying to help reduce the crime, which is going to help the black population. Make it make sense. Anyway, so shout out to the white liberals out there in Baltimore, Murderland. Okay, let's keep on going here. This person right here might be a white liberal representative. Okay, she might be a white representative of the liberal the liberal foundation. Let's watch.
Effective form of protest you have.
And RIP to the headphone user. Start from the top.
Effective form of protest you have right now that you can start immediately. Put a mask back on. Stop letting them observe your face. And have the side benefit of better health and protecting the rest of us in the world. Put a mask back on. It's an effective form of protest.
Hey, you know what? They love their masks. They absolutely adore their masks. It's like a comfort blankie. That's pretty much what it is. That's what their mask is. And as far as improving your health, listen, it's not going to improve your health. We know that these masks got all kind of stuff on it. The factories in which they produce these masks, it'd be an Indian dude with a wife beater on and no shirt on, chest hair everywhere. The mask going to be on the ground. It'd be in between the Indian dude's feet, like he just, playing with some dirt on the ground. That'd be the mask you put on your face to prevent from catching a head cold, which ain't even going to work. You'll probably be more sick from wearing the mask all day than you would be from not wearing the mask to try and prevent the common cold. Okay, how are you protesting anything by putting the mask on? How are you doing that? Because guess what? When you get arrested for attacking ICE agents, police officers, they're taking that mask right off your face, and you're going to go to the station, to the police station. You're getting fingerprinted, photographed, all of that with no mask on. So what are you actually accomplishing? Not much. And you know what? I hate that they wear my same glasses. I hate that so much. It's like, I don't want to be lumped into that kind of individual. I don't want them to say, you know what, I got on the same glasses, you must be the same. I am not. Okay, I am not in the least bit. But yeah, shout out to the white liberal representative. I appreciate that. And we got some more. Okay, this person, I don't know what the situation is. I don't know why it's so confrontational, but I just want to play some of this.
Oh, you don't want me to take a picture of your face? Is that because you're ICE?
Is she hissing? Why are you hissing? Is that supposed to scare me? It's like, am I scared of your hissing? Okay. Didn't work, but let's keep on going. You sound like a spray paint bottle right now. You sound like a spray can. Are you graffiti or are you like a snake hissing? I can't tell which one is which.
What are you doing? Who are you? Who are you? What is all this? What is this? What is all this? Huh? What is this? What is this? What is this? Huh? What is this? Is this ice?
Now look, I don't know about y'all, but all that touching this stuff, I don't like, okay, you're touching me. I need you to back up. Okay, you're all on my arm. You not only touching my physical body, but you're touching my stuff I got on, all my equipment and stuff like that. Lady, I need you to give me about 15, 20 feet. Okay, say whatever you want. Make a little spray bottle, spray can noises. It's fine, but I need you to back up off me. What's wrong with these people? They're a lot of times indoctrinated and radicalized by what they see on television from a lot of your left-wing pundits and your politicos. Okay, you got to confront ICE and make a scene. Exhibit A. There we go, right there. That is exactly what they want to happen. All right, lady. The is it graffiti or am I hearing a snake? Is it some kind of intimidation thing? I'm not very intimidated by this at all. Okay, I'm not very intimidated by the noises. And we got another one. It might be your cousin or something like this. Okay, this I believe is over in UK, and there's some kind of protest. Of course, there's always a protest. Might be some migrants or something like that. Same thing we got going on over here. And here is this woman doing her own form of protest with what appears to be some kitchen utensils.
What's a waste of taxpayer money, honestly? What's a waste? What's a waste? A waste of resources. For God's sake, pensioners, they're elderly people.
Okay, free Palestine. Cool. But check it out. What you should do is take those kitchen utensils and go to the actual kitchen. Your time would be a lot better spent if you took that spoon and the lid and made a beef stew, okay, some gumbo, some chili, something else other than this.
What's a waste of tax?
That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. If you can cook. If not, don't need to worry about it. Stay out there, keep banging the, hey, if all you can do is that with the utensils from the kitchen, just do that. Don't worry about trying to cook no food because I ain't going to eat it. Hey, your potluck, I don't think I want that because you probably got cats in the food. I'm not sure what's under this terrorist scarf you got on. I'm good. So matter of fact, don't even worry about it. Don't cook no food. Don't cook no food. All right. Now this character, I'm not sure where he is. If you guys know where this character is, and at this point, listen, I don't know who's what anymore. I don't know what gender is anymore. I know I'm a man. I know about that much, but everybody else, I have no idea. So let's hear from this person whose gender is unknown.
Because you think your job is more important than the people suffering in concentration camps funded by your labor. How do you sit with that? The American working class is guilty and complicit. That march by, they don't care. They will overlook everything that is being said right now because they have to take responsibility. Because you think your job is more important than the people suffering in concentration camps funded by your labor.
Okay, bro. I mean, what is going on here? You're in the cage. This is some freaky sexual stuff going on right here. You got a collar or some kind of chain on your neck. You got a cross with Jesus on it. You're just doing way too much. And who is this guy right here with the mask on and the combat boots and the shorts? See, y'all just doing some extracurricular freaky activity outside, masquerading as a protest. Wherever these guys are, I don't want to be around that. I don't want to be, enjoying my Friday afternoon, having lunch in the city somewhere, and I see this dude roll up in the cage with, I don't know what on his body, a dog collar. I'm good, bro. Don't worry about it. Your friend has just for the very first time found out what sun is, because look at these legs. Okay. You're pretty much matching the actual sidewalk right there. So yeah, shout out to that team. I don't want to be nowhere near where y'all at. I'm good. I am super good.
I don't think.
All right. So this guy has a message for the MAGAs. This guy has a message for the MAGAs. And hopefully it's not too scary. Hopefully it's not too intimidating. Alrighty?
I don't think I've been clear enough about this. Any of you MAGA, like almost any of you, I could kill you with my bare hands. I kickboxed and did MMA for 10 years. Want to know how I know I can kick your ass? I've already fought you. I grew up in the deep south, in the middle of fucking nowhere, where there was nothing to do but fuck, fight, and drink.
Okay. Too much cussing, a little bit vulgar, but I'm going to let it play for a little while longer.
And meth. A lot of meth. By the time I was 17, I had already fought 2 grown-ass men. Because what do conservative men, big tough conservative men, they get drunk in their backyard with a fucking UFC bag hanging in their fucking backyard on a wire do? Fight high school kids. I beat their goddamn ass. Because I've been doing this shit since I was like 10. And they were out of breath in 30 seconds. And I beat the dog shit out of them.
Okay, so you're a big tough guy. You're going to fight the MAGAs. But check it out. First of all, if you want to engage in violence against somebody, not everyone's going to fight you. I don't know about y'all, but I don't do no squabbling. I'm too old to be out in the street fighting and carrying on. I'm not trying to turn my back or my knee or my nothing. I'm not trying to have no injuries at this big age. Okay. So if you, sir, want to try to be violent with me, I'm not going to fight you, but I got a great equalizer. I ain't going to say what it is, but it starts with an un and starts. I ain't going to say what it is, but it ends with an un and starts with a G. Put it together. Y'all know how to do math. I ain't going to fight you, bro. Why are you threatening people because you disagree with them politically? Listen, I can disagree with you and have peace. I'm not putting my hands on you. I'm not trying to attack you. We're going to have a discussion on the issues, on the topics. The violence element, you don't want that. You don't want that because me and a lot of guys like me, we don't even really play around like that. Okay? We'll give you fair warning. We're not trying to fight. You might even stop me one time. Boom. I'll be like, all right, now I'm going to need you to back up because it's about to go a different direction. And if you don't, well, hey, man, call your mama and tell her, hey, I love you, but now I got to do something else. So yeah, shout out to him. I'm not very afraid. Not in the least bit. Okay, let's keep on rocking here. Now we have discrimination. Discrimination because you got some MAGAs at the table. You don't want to serve them, okay?
Oh, what a day. What a week. We had a guy come in today wearing a fucking mega hat, and I walked away from the register, and I said, nope, not waiting on him, not handing him food, not making him food, absolutely not. Yeah, I have a red shirt on, but it's my work shirt, and my company's on the side. But other than that, I don't think I really own any red shirts. It's all dark. But I'm like, no. And honestly, anytime anyone does walk in with a hat like that on, I walk away. I don't care if I get red or not. I don't care. If you have the balls to wear that around, especially with everything that's been going on lately, you're a fucking idiot. And I'm not going to wait on you. It's not going to happen.
Okay, there we go. So are we still going through the whole MAGA hat phenomenon? Remember 2016? I feel like we've traveled back in time. Or maybe they have not really advanced forward because I felt like we've been making leaps forward and progressing as society, but they're still stuck at 2016 when Trump first got elected, or maybe they weren't even around during that time. I don't know what's going on, but there was a MAGA hat frenzy back in like 2015, 2016, right around that time. I thought it died down, but I guess it's still here because she's still getting triggered about the hat. At this point, I don't even really care. Listen, if I am a waiter at a restaurant and you come in looking like Homie the Clown, like this, a MAGA hat, an LGBT hat, I don't care nothing about what you got on. Okay, you trying to pay this money or not? You trying to eat this food or not? Like, I'm doing business. I'm not going to be so silly to block money because I disagree with you politically. If you're coming into my establishment and you cool with it, come on. I'm going to serve you. I'm going to get my money and keep it moving. If I'm her employer and I see this, I'm firing her because she is getting in the way of the money. And when you're in business, that's the bottom line. I'm not worried about your political stuff. Do you have the money or no? Do you have the money or no? And if you don't, go that way. If you do, come on in. All right. So yeah, shout out to her. And shout out to her employer. Hey man, you might not last too much longer. Okay? You might not last too much longer. And we got another one saying the same thing. Do we see a pattern here? Do we see a pattern of, and I'm not trying to cherry pick videos. I find them, they get sent to me, and I see a pattern.
I will not hire a Republican. I will not do business with a place that employs Republicans. I will not allow a Republican in my home. These folks will sell a child to a predator for $1. Why would you go into a place that hires these people? They have literally said that they don't believe in reality, they believe in alternative facts. You're going to let someone who believes in alternative facts do your taxes? You're going to let someone who believes in alternative facts cook your food? These are people who don't believe in science or medicine. They will let chicken sit at room temperature for weeks because they don't believe that diseases exist. They put profits over people every time. Why would you eat at a Republican establishment? Why would you let your kids go there?
Okay, there's a lot going on. First of all, I'm not quite sure if you are going to be someone to tell us about health because I'm seeing some things happening. I don't know what's going on. I'm not here to judge. Hopefully you're well. Hopefully everything's okay with you. But alternative facts, leave a chicken out for weeks. I mean, who does that? Who does that? And it's the conservatives who were trying to tell y'all about that vaccine that a lot of y'all went out there and got. Now you got myocarditis, pericarditis, etc. at a young age. We told y'all about that, and you said that we were the bad guys. We told y'all that the lockdowns were going to be a bad idea, and we were right. We were the bad guys back then. We tried to tell y'all about a lot of things health-wise that would help you. You refuse to listen, and now you have worse health as a result. But we're anti-science. We're anti-health. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. You're talking about child predators selling children, the southern border, the Biden border rush, all the illegal aliens coming into the country. Do you know how many children were trafficked as a result of the border being wide open? We say close the border, stop child trafficking. Y'all get mad. What I'm hearing right here from this young lady is a bunch of projection, a lot of projection, which is very typical of the left. Very typical. So yeah, shout out to her. Shout out to her. Okay. I got some more. I got quite a few more here. Hold on. All right, let's go to, we have a luxury Section 8 apartment tour in Arizona. They got a gated community with an on-site pet spa. The woman is in a brand new 3-bedroom unit, hardwood floors, an island, kitchen island, granite countertops, paid for by you, the taxpayers. Okay? Because remember, Section 8, they pay the majority or all of your rent. The majority or all. So they got to pay a little bit of the rent. But sometimes the government pays for all the rent. Let's watch.
It's a really big area, too. It is. So this is my living room area. My unpacking that still needs to be done.
And you're the first one here.
Yep.
They came with the hardwood floors, the granite countertops, it looked like.
Yep.
Got a nice island there. Hey, that's what's up.
Yeah, yep. It was really the hardwood floors and the granite countertops that got me. I was like, oh yeah. It's unpacked stuff everywhere. So this is my daughter's room. She's out of town, so she left it like she didn't give a damn. So this is the other bedroom, her closet.
Okay.
See what
Let's go walk in, huh?
See what, it ain't too bad. Yeah, okay. Make sure it ain't too bad up in here. The walk-in closet I used to have was literally like I could live in there if I wanted to.
You could walk in there.
Yeah. So I guess that's a walk-in closet. Yeah. I guess I count. This is the second to guest bathroom.
Okay, so
this
two
is
baths. Too.
Two baths.
Three bedrooms, 2 baths.
Yep, there's a tub in this one and a shower in the other one, which I don't really care for, but hey, that's the way that they set it up.
All right, another room. A lot of junk already in there, but I guess that's fine. There's no sound on this.
We also have a dog spa, which obviously I love. I got my little doggy. They were supposed to build a dog park as well, but I'm guessing they ran out of funding, is what I would assume.
Have you brought your dog here?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. She's supposed to be in here today, but I was...
So they go to a pet spa. You got to get a grooming area. Yeah, the whole thing to give your dog the beauty treatment. All of that available in a Section 8 property.
So this is cool. So you can bring your pet here, your dog, and groom them.
Yep. I don't put her in here, but I leave her down here, and then I cut the blow dryer on for her. She be a little scared, but she don't got used to it. But I love it because this way I don't have to wash her in my house.
All right, there you go. So looks nice, right? Section 8, very first tenant, granite countertops, hardwood floors, probably some engineered hardwood or some LVT, but it could be full hardwood, but I doubt it. I wouldn't put hardwood floors in a Section 8 spot because it's going to get damaged by water damage. I'll put LVT or something like that at best, or vinyl, like regular vinyl, not even LVT. Okay, now speaking about government assistance programs, 15 million people are on Medi-Cal. I might have played this last time, but I'm going to play it one more time.
Millions of California.
15 million people on Medi-Cal. Maybe that's why they are so many of them that don't work.
Millions of Californians are at risk of losing their Medi-Cal coverage because of new rules from the Trump administration. These are the first ever work requirements for Medicaid recipients in the program's 60-year history. Under the new mandates, recipients must prove every 6 months that they are working, going to school, or volunteering at least 80 hours a month. Medi-Cal is California's version of Medicaid. 15 million people are on it in the state.
Now, if you want to take advantage of government assistance programs, I think this makes sense. Okay, you got to prove, okay, you're going to school, you're going to work, you're volunteering, and it needs to be temporary, not a permanent way of living. Not a permanent way of living at all. The taxpayers, me, you, us, we the taxpayers should not be paying for people to just live for free while they do nothing. There's no purpose in us just keeping these useless eaters, as they would say, afloat in society. Give something back to society if you're getting something from it, especially if, again, you are an able-bodied person. You're a child, you're a senior citizen, like 1,000 years old, Joe Biden, or you got some kind of medical issue. That's different. Able-bodied adult, you need to be out there doing something, contributing something, rather than just being a bump on the log. Okay, now, what else I got? What we gonna do here? Okay, this guy has, I feel like I'm skipping something. Oh, this is what I wanted to do. I'm gonna show you something before I move on. So we have some floods out here in Tennessee. Did you guys see it? The floods are crazy. And this is gonna be, it might be kind of a big story. I might even cover it because I think there was some negligence, at least in one part of the city. But it was a flash flood. A lot of these places, I know exactly what it is. You got a car wash right there, and another one right across the street. It's like a storage place. I think there's a humidor right there. Another car wash, a coffee space, I think, right there. And that is a major street. That's East Brainerd Road. That's a major street, totally underwater. Okay, no sound, but I'm just showing you some of the flood that happened out here again in Chattanooga, Tennessee. This is like not far. I go by that way all the time, but luckily in my neck of the woods, we're good. And I knew that this area could flood. So when I had my house built, I made sure to have it in the elevated area, we're in the elevated area out here, and I'm on a hill. My house is on the hill, and we're in the elevated area. All of that is not too far from me. Now, the waters have receded for the most part, but yeah, it's pretty bad. And they got really bad on the interstate. I'm going to show that to you in a minute. So you can see where certain parts of the road are flooded, certain parts aren't. Low-lying areas, it just went straight down there. Grocery store, food city. Yeah, all of that. Terrible. But like I said, the waters have receded. We got like 6 inches of rain in like an hour. Something crazy. People were driving on the road, and then all of a sudden, it was a flood. And that's a big part of the reason why I like my truck. I got caught in the flash flood before, not in Chattanooga, but not far from Chattanooga. I was on the interstate in Georgia by the Buc-ee's out there by Calhoun, Georgia. So I got caught right there in the flash flood, and I was driving the Camry at the time. It was crazy because it happened so quick. So much rain, so quick at once. You could be driving, it would be totally dry, and within minutes, the water will like be about to come into your actual door. It was crazy, a flash flood. Yep. Okay, and here is where it really got bad. I'm gonna turn the sound down. But this is the interstate. The interstate. Interstate 24. Okay, get ready to go to 75. That is interstate. See that right there? Now listen, this is going to be an issue because they just opened this exit. It was a lot of road work right there. That's Northmore Road. They just opened the exit like a couple of days ago because they're working on it. So now there's 2 lanes that go to Northmore Road right off of 24. But it rains and then it floods immediately right there, right where they opened it. People were saying they were trying to get this particular area to drain. You can see it's trying to drain right there, but it's having a hard time. They were trying to get this area to drain, but what they did during construction was tarp the drains to prevent debris from getting in there during construction. Well, when they opened it, I guess the tarps were still on it. And that caused the water to back up. It created a river on the interstate, literally. You got 3 or 4 lanes on each side, and it was a river. Standstill. People are driving through it because it happened right when they were on the road driving. The flash flood happens to you very quickly, which is why I love my F-150. Okay, it has a lift on it. It could kind of go through some of the flash flood areas decently. Has a better chance of getting through it rather than a Camry or something like that, some kind of sedan. But yeah, a lot of vehicles stranded, lot of floods. People had to get rescued. It was crazy. It was totally crazy. So yeah, but I'm good though. I'm good. My neck of the woods are fine. Wherever I gotta go, like I was out today, no problems. But over there, like right where that was in the interstate, and you know what? That interstate has had problems for a while. I try to avoid the interstate. And matter of fact, I was just right there. The reason why I know they just opened that road, I had a lunch meeting on Monday in downtown. So I went that way. I passed right by that exit. Tuesday, the next day, flash flood right where I was just at. And I try to avoid it. The only reason why I went that way is because I was a little bit late. And I wound up being early for my meeting. But if I would have gone the opposite direction, the long way, I would have been late. But normally I avoid that way altogether because there's always something going on. Always something. Yeah, that truck, hey, hold on. Somebody says that big truck can't get through. I missed a comment. But nah, like if you have some water on the ground, you'll be okay in the truck. It just depends on how much water's on the ground. It just depends. I've gone through a little bit of water in a truck before. Like that right there, I might have been okay if I was to get to the elevated area in the water. Because I drive the road so much, I know where it's like elevated and where it's not. Hey, yes, indeed. Somebody said I'm a redneck hillbilly, 100%. Yeah, I'm the black neck hillbilly for sure. Okay, let's go to this right here. Some housing stuff This guy's paying $19.50 a month a rent for this co-living space in New York City. Would you want to live in the co-living space? I presume before I watch the video, they're talking about you sharing bathrooms and stuff like that with people. Would you want to live in a place like that or not? Again, $19.50 New York City.
I just moved into this co-living house in New York with a bunch of strangers. Here's how much the rent costs. So this is a 15-bedroom house in Brooklyn. It's definitely got some Friends vibes to it. Ever since I started making content, I've wanted to live in New York, but it's obviously insanely expensive. So I moved in here with a bunch of people, and it's been great. This house has a bunch of shared spaces, like this basement has a bar, TV, living room, this co-working area. We have a little gym too. We also have a pretty big backyard, which is super nice to have in a big city. This is the kitchen, and it's set up pretty well so you can have multiple people cooking at one time. But definitely the best part is the location. Being just a bike ride away from this view does not get old. And in terms of rent, the average cost of a cohab's room in New York is $19.50. Personally, this house has everything I need, but let me know what you think. Would you try co-living? I just moved into
Okay, there we go. So you got your own room with your own bathroom, and you could go down the stairs and cook with people. I don't know. Personally, it could work if I'm young and the roommates are cool. It could work. But as you get older, that's not really going to work. It didn't look too bad for what it was. I'm surprised they had the bathroom right in the same room that you are renting. I hope that's the way it is because I see there might be another little hallway down there. I don't know what's going on. So hopefully you have that bathroom to yourself. If that's the case, then it's cool. But if I'm young and I'm in the city trying to make it happen, I would do that. And a dorm, exactly. Sarah, 1950 is New York City. It's New York. Personally, I'm good. But hey, yeah, it's called roommates, of course, exactly. But yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Jeanine says affordable, quote unquote, studios in New York City area is $2,800 per month. AMG says not bad. The bedroom is pretty big for New York City. I don't think a 15-bedroom place is legal in that small building, though. Yeah, that's what I don't think there's going to be 15 bedrooms. That's my thing. I'm thinking that people are sharing some of these rooms. All right, they're probably sharing some of the rooms like a hotel. Well, not quite, because in a hotel, I think you might have your cooking space in your own space. If they have hotels like I don't know what they call them. Like they came out with these hotels to compete with Airbnb, where they give you like a little cooking area. Maybe they're out before Airbnb. Either way it goes, you got hotels that have a cooking area in the room, bathroom, of course, all of that contained in one space. But in this place, you get a cooking area as communal, meaning everybody's down in the same place cooking. There's no separate cooking facilities for each person, which I don't like. Like I said, if I'm young, it's fine. But if I'm older, I'm good. I don't want that level of involvement with these strangers. But anyway, speaking about rent, how much do you pay for rent in Boston? If you live in Boston, Massachusetts, how much do you think rent costs for studio, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom in Boston, Massachusetts? All right, let's go ahead and throw this on the screen. And here we go.
How much rent do you pay in Boston?
I pay $3,400 for a 1-bedroom.
Awesome.
$3,400 for 1 bed, 1 bath in Boston. Let's keep on going.
Can I see it?
Yeah, of course. Let's go. Fun fact, our landlord actually has not raised our rent, which has been so nice. I live with my fiance, and this is actually our second apartment in Boston. Our first one was in Back Bay, and then we came to this one. Come on in. This is the apartment here. Kitchen over here. I am not the chef in the apartment. My fiance does all of the cooking. So he likes to cook like steak, salmon, I don't know, everything. I love the air fryer, so this is where I do all my cooking. This is everything. I honestly got most of my furniture from Amazon, and this is one of my favorite pieces. Every morning, I always use the vanilla syrup and have an oat milk iced latte. I had this book made. It had all the pictures from a trip that we went to Bali. And my favorite chair, it's been sold out on Amazon for like 2 years now, but it's one of my favorite pieces that I found. Also like a little game corner that we have. I have all the like vintage game books and a dartboard. There is holes in the wall, so don't mind that. So this is my work from home desk. I work from home like 2 days a week, and I'm a technical product manager in robotics, so have to have the dual monitor to...
So nice spot. I'm kind of gonna go ahead a little bit. Okay, got a little view, little balcony.
This is our little view of the city, and then we have the pool over there. My fiance and I met in engineering school, so of course we have to have some Lego art on our walls. This is the bathroom over here. Nothing too crazy. And then this is our bedroom. We got a lot of natural lighting, which is another thing that I love about our apartment. It's where I get ready in the morning, so I have all of my makeup all set up.
So nice little spot, but would you pay $3,400 for this particular place? Okay. You got gym facilities and all that kind of stuff. The pool out there as part of the amenities of the apartment. But again, $3,400. Would you pay that for that in Boston? Is that a good deal for that particular place? Let me know. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? All right, let's keep going here. This guy bought his first house at 20 years old. Let's see what kind of house he got and how they do it.
It's official, boys. Your boy bought his first house at 20. I'm gonna give you all a tiny little house here tour. Here's my beautiful home. My nice long driveway, perfect for me. You know, I got the 2-car detached garage, 1-car attached. Whole parking lot in the back. Nice back furniture. I left my door open. Dude, just gorgeous.
I love it. Looks nice so far. Lot of backyard space. The detached garage, a lot of space, lot of asphalt and whatnot in the back. I like it a lot already. Just from the outside, it looks good.
I'm so happy right now. Yeah, yo, I didn't buy the biggest house ever, but it's a great starter home, and I'm more than excited. I mean, look how beautiful my backyard is, y'all. This is just great, man. I mean, shoot. Got my awesome kitchen. I have no furniture yet. My nice fireplace. Bro, so fire. Homie's room, my room, bathroom.
Homie's room, you got roommates? I wouldn't buy a house and didn't have roommates, but hey, it's whatever. He's 20 years old.
Dude, your boy's officially a homeowner, though. I don't know what to think, man. This is all so crazy to me. Absolutely insane. So, appreciate everybody who watches my videos. I love y'all. And way more videos to come with the new house and new things. So, see y'all later.
So, shout out to the house. I mean, look, that house right there, somebody might look at that and say, oh, it's an old house, whatever. But for me, that'd be a perfect house. Not too big, but you got a lot of land. Okay, you got nice grounds, well manicured lawn and stuff like this. Good landscaping, the detached garage, the shed, all of that. It looks great. That's a nice house. Okay, 20 years old to be able to do it. I wonder how he did it. That's the question. Okay, I wonder how he did it. Yeah, when I was looking at houses when I first moved here back in 2017 to rent, looking at houses to rent at first before I got this house. I saw a house that was just like that, but the people that were trying to sell it, they were trying to flip it, and they had not really accomplished the goal. They still had some issues. Like I was seeing some droppings on the ground by the baseboards. I'm like, there it is. We got something in here. Okay. And the dude, it was a husband and wife, I think, or partners. This dude in here looking like he's straight from Starbucks. Okay. Like he got off his, he got away from his Starbucks office and came to the actual house to try and polish some brass fixtures. I'm like, bro, it would have been nice if they really fixed it up. And looking back on it, if I was to buy a house, I might buy that off of them and then do the actual work to fix it up because they didn't know what they were doing for real. They had a gem of a house. It looked just like that, but they didn't fix it up right. Anyway, let's keep on going here. Now, this guy's a lineman. I don't know if I played this last time, but he's a journeyman lineman. You know, the electrician guys work on the big poles up in the air. A journeyman lineman. How much you make a year? As a journeyman lineman, how much do you make? Let's check it out.
300 plus. I'm a lineman, journeyman lineman.
Awesome. And how long have you been doing this?
10 years. You got to get into a lineman college and then get yourself in with a groundman and then work your way through an apprenticeship. Apprenticeship's about 7 years. And then you'll get to be a journeyman lineman.
Trying to share like how much you make?
A base pay for journeyman lineman is like 140.
But the overpay, like how much someone can make as a journeyman?
300 plus. 300 plus. I'm a lineman.
So your base pay could be $140,000. Your base pay 140. You really want to go hard, do overtime, and you experience 300 plus. So it's all about how hard you want to go. how much you want to work, your time you put in, you can make a lot of money as a journeyman lineman. A lot of money. As I say all the time, the trades are where it's at. As of right now, an AI cannot get up in the bucket truck and fix the power lines. They can't do that. So if you can do it, it's dangerous, it's high risk. You might work a lot of hours, but it's sacrifice you got to make in order to get what you want. People feel like sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes they feel like they want to make a lot of money without any sacrifice. That's not really how it works. In order to make a lot of money, to be very successful, to be ambitious, come a lot of a sacrifice. You got to sacrifice. All right. So shout out to him again, journeyman lineman. And I got one more. This is about AI. Speaking about AI, schools and colleges now have ways to determine if you're using AI in your paperwork, in your papers, your homework assignments, whatever you're doing. And I feel like it's kind of weird because you have AI checking AI to see if it's AI. But anyway, let's watch this.
So they just made it pretty much impossible to use ChatGPT or any kind of AI in college. Because now, whenever I pull up my paper, there's a new button. You go down here, you press it, and then watch writing report. And what this basically does is you press play and it'll show exactly what you started with and then what you wrote to like change the text. And then it'll say who did what, how natural it sounds. This one's a bit iffy, but it has pauses, errors, and proof of effort. And then it shows you how long it took to write the edits and pastes. You can't even just paste in AI and then edit it anymore. So they just made it.
So, I mean, what's your opinion about that? Because now, are they requiring you to just write your paper in this particular app? Okay, you got to write it there. You can't do copy and paste. I don't know. I understand the need to try and combat AI because these kids using AI so much, they're not writing anything on their own, which makes it difficult for them to learn how to read. It makes it hard for them to learn the actual material if they're just using ways to cheat. Because in my opinion, if you're using AI for a paper, for an assignment from school, you're cheating. So in the effort to try and weed out the cheating, they could also be hindering your ability to do the work properly. And it's a bunch of surveillance on you. They're counting keystrokes and how long you are on the assignment. That might be a little bit much in my humble opinion. But what do y'all think? Is it needed? Is it too far over the top? Y'all let me know what you think. Yes, AI has been here for a while, Lou Montanano. It's been here for a while. It's just now becoming very popular. Same thing with robotics. I got a video. I'm gonna post a video as a short after this stream. I'm gonna post it. Maybe I'll post it tomorrow, but I might post it tonight if I can. But I got a video from 2020 in which I saw an automatic floor sweeper in Walmart. It was nobody pushing it. It was just on its own doing its thing. I saw that. I'm like, huh? And now we're seeing that kind of thing happen regularly. We're seeing that kind of thing out in the street. See, they had the floor sweeper in Walmart late at night. Like back in the days when Walmart was open all night. They had it in there during that time, so you probably won't see it. And there won't be so many people around it. But now they just let those kind of machines out in the public whenever, and it's okay because now we're not really so sensitive toward seeing these machines that appear to be autonomous, although they're not totally. Anyway, if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Carolyn says, but AI doesn't write from scratch, does it? Don't you write it and they improve on it? Well, that's a good question, Carolyn. They do have things like Grammarly, which you write whatever the paper is. You write whatever it is, and it can help you with your grammar, your sentence structure. It can help you with that. That's one form of AI. There's also AI. All you got to do is say, hey, write an article about this subject. Write an article about this. You give it prompts, and based upon your prompts, it'll write the article. Now, in the way that these kids in college are using it, I'm not quite sure. It's probably a combination of them writing it and having entire blocks of the copy prepared for them by the AI totally. Like on my website, I can just ask, hey, X, Y, and Z AI, write a brief article about California Governor Gavin Newsom's attempt to gerrymander California. It'll give me a whole article just from that one sentence of a prompt. So they're probably using the combination of both, Grammarly and also just full on blocks of text being generated by AI for sure. Yeah, I use Grammarly. I used to use Grammarly, but I feel like it might be, for me, it was getting a little bit invasive, a little bit intrusive, a little bit intrusive in the way that I write. But it is a good tool to have. It's a good tool to have just to help you with making sure everything is written properly, grammatically correct. English can be very difficult sometimes, so it's good to have Grammarly as a tool. But when you just straight up creating blocks of text and trying to say, this is my paper, this is my original content, that's not really the way it should be. I think it's okay to use AI to write summaries that you're not trying to get any money from. Like I might use that on my website, but I'm not trying to make any money on the website. I'm not trying to pass it off as, oh, this is my original. Nah. What I do that's original content is when I'm on the internet talking. I never write a script at all. Like right now, this whole 2.5 hours, I'm just talking with no script at all. That's my original content. But if I do a video and then I tell the AI, hey, write a summary about my video, that's something different. Dude says, what's your opinion on YouTube rolling out AI demanding users submit a driver's license ID to prove you're an adult? That's a really good question. I've not looked into it totally to see all of the details, but based on what you said right there and what I've been hearing, I'm not really a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it. I think it's a little bit too invasive, but it's happening. Not on YouTube specifically quite yet, I suppose. Maybe it will be happening, but on other platforms, other websites, it's already happening. It's already happening. But I'm not a fan. And I think about it in the streets, AI cannot be me. AI, in order for AI to be ABL, it needs to have me be telling it what to do. The only way AI could be me is if I am the one behind it, because there's nobody else that's me. You are your own unique person. Your experiences, your genetics, everything that you've gone through in your life makes you you and a unique person. AI cannot reproduce that. If AI can reproduce that, then and the more important human beings. If AI could be me, totally, physically, mentally, all of that, then ain't no more human beings. So I don't see that happening no time soon. West B Playing says ID for age verification would just get me off the internet. Already stopped using apps and sites and freed up my social life. I don't blame you. And I see it coming. The internet is going to be less populated. The way the internet is, the way it was based is not going to be the same way in the future. People will still be on these applications. They'll still be on social media, but it won't be the same way it was in the past. It won't be the same way. I'm already ready for it. I already see it coming. I've been seeing it coming. But anyway, if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. We're going to get to the calls in a minute. The number to call is 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287. We're going to get to that in a minute. But first, we got Super Chats on deck. Super Chats on deck. Let me read these right quick. Thank you to Apu Bakar Alpuff Daddy, who says, RIP Officer David Rose, husband and father, so sad. Yes, David Rose, you're talking about a man that was shot in Atlanta by the guy at the CDC. Yeah. So RIP to him. Hold on. Do I have a video? He was very well liked, very well loved by the community, by his family, friends, everybody. Very sad. This is him right here.
DeKalb County police officer David Rose shown here at a family birthday party with relatives from Massachusetts. His loss leaving them shaken.
He did everything and he made sacrifices to better himself, his family, his kids' lives, his wife. He wanted the American dream, and it was taken from him just from an extremist.
Officer Rose was born in Boston and spent part of his childhood in Dorchester before moving to Georgia. The 33-year-old was killed responding to an active shooter near the CDC in Atlanta, one of the first to answer the call.
We will never be able to see David's fullest potential. And
very sad. Again, RIP David Rose, 33 years old, out there in the Atlanta, Georgia area. There was a shooting at the CDC. Well, the guy was at the CVS shooting at the CDC and hitting the building, from what I'm able to see. And David Rose was one of the first to respond. And he was unfortunately shot by the person. And now he is deceased. So RIP to the officer. All right, RIP to the officer. Thank you to Mauricio, who says, ABL, you're a much needed reality check in this crazy world. I do my best, Mauricio. I do my absolute best. All right. Thank you to Michael Critzel, who says no cash bail is a joke. Yeah, it is a joke. It is. Thank you to Charmaine Bush for the dancing emoji. I appreciate you for that. Thank you to Mauricio91, who says, awfuls, affluent, white, female, urban liberals. Yes. Thank you to Diddy Truck. Diddy Truck says, chat, save time and money with your nuts. Hold on, I'm going to try to read it because it's an ad. Chat, save time and money on your next truck rental with Diddy Truck. Compare prices from companies like U-Haul, Penske, and Budget. Reserve your next truck with Diddy Truck. Hashtag compare to save. Now, that's not Diddy as in Puff Daddy, not D-I-D-D-Y, but that's D-I-T-Y. So is that Diddy Truck, Diddy Truck? I don't know, but it's not Puff Daddy, it's not Diddy, it's not Sean Combs, no baby oil, nothing like that. It's just a moving company, a moving service, okay? Thank you to Mr. Wilk, who says the audio is going in and out. Hopefully, it sounds better now. Thank you to Eugene for becoming a member. Thank you to Beans, who says local news in Kansas City reports the Sunfresh closed mainly due to rampant shoplifting. The store, since opening, received almost $29 million in taxpayer money. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Well, the shoplifting and just the fact that nobody's supporting it. Nobody's supporting it. If they didn't steal, they wouldn't buy anything. So the same result was going to happen regardless. If they didn't steal, it was just going to be somewhere that didn't make any money because nobody would buy anything in there because they can't afford it. Thank you to Tessa Jetta for the emoji. I appreciate you for that. And thank you to Michael Crislow, who says it's being reported that AOL is finally ending its dial-up internet service after 34 years. Who knew dial-up still existed? Hey, dial-up still, people, they creatures of habit. They are on dial-up. They've been on dial-up from the beginning. A lot of people never really got too far into the internets. They just stayed with their dial-up service. Hey, they could check the emails, communicate with their grandbabies or something like that. That's all they really care about. They're not really worried about a lot of high-tech stuff. So yeah, RIP to AOL's dial-up service. 34 years. It was a good run. It was a super good run. Back in the day, we had the free AOL discs. Remember those days? 30 days free with internet. When the internet first came out, 1994, that era. When the internet first came out, you had to get an internet service provider. AOL was the first one that I knew of. They would give you these discs in the mail and magazines and whatnot, and that would give you 30 days free. Dial-up service, you had to use your landline to connect to the internet. This is before cell phones. This is before all of that. Good old days. So again, RIP AOL, dial-up service, 34 years. Amazing. Not RIP AOL totally. You still got AOL email addresses. That's still a thing. But the dial-up service is no more. But again, the number to call is 706-406-3287. The number is always in the ticker and also in the description box. You had a million AOL CDs, George Bosch. Hey, I'm right there with you, man. I am right there with you. You got mail. Was that a good impression? You got mail. It was dirt slow, Emily. It was slow as molasses. It was slow as Methuselah. I'm talking about just traipsing through mud. Real slow, quicksand slow. half hour download one song. Hey, back in those days, you would appreciate what you got from the internet. Trying to download a picture, hey man, a picture might take you forever, and it might not finish. It'll take minutes, if not like an hour for one picture sometimes. Okay, Sarah, I miss LimeWire, burning your mixtape CD. I did all of that. LimeWire, man, I did everything. I was a CD man. I used to get 100 pack of these blank discs called TYs. We call them TYs, Tile Utin, because it was the best blanks you can get on the market. It didn't really skip too much. Very few duds in the pack. I would get 100 pack of TYs, and I would be burning CDs all the time. That was my little side hustle. Back when I was like 18, 19, 20. 56K. I remember 56K came out. I remember when the very first speeds, 56K, the modem, you had to get certain devices. You had to get a modem, then a CD burner. The kids today will never understand. They will never understand at all. Hey, but now with this right here, you could access anything whenever you want. This was a dream in the 90s, a dream to have something like this in the palm of your hand. Unfathomable for me at that age. Leslie says, how about dial-up internet? Then someone called you, mess up your download. Exactly. It's like, man, look, don't be calling me on the phone. Like, what are we doing? Don't try to use the phone. Nah, stay off the phone. Let me just, you know what I mean, be on the internet for a while. Joe says I had a net zero account for quite a while back then. Net zero, shout out net zero. Yep. Spirit says that's actually illegal bootlegging, not a side hustle. Well, it was a side hustle. Also, with the bootlegging, you only got in trouble if you had like more than 10 copies at once. If you had more than 10 copies, it became a crime at that point. And they're not prosecuting what I was doing, which is like, you know, making $100. They ain't prosecuting that. Like, try bringing that to court. Hey, we got this kid with 5 CDs in his book bag, and he's gonna make $20. Yeah, bring that to court. Like, be serious, bro. They only would get the big guys who had like a bunch of movies and stuff like that. You're talking about guys over in China. That's a whole different ball of wax. Aside from what I was doing, it was not really illegal because there was a guy in the mall. He had a kiosk in the mall with mixtapes. And the way mixtapes work, you're supposed to just give them away. If you sell them, it's called bootlegging because you're not selling things that you have the license to sell. All you're going to do is just burn them, put them in a slim case, print a cover, put the cover on it, and sell it. You had a whole booth in the mall that was there for years doing that. So if it was illegal, he would have got shut down. If it was a big priority to get guys selling mixtapes, they would have already shut it down. Yeah. Oh, the male cheerleaders. Did I talk about that? I didn't talk about that, did I? Now look, I'm gonna show it right quick, just because you requested. I got you. I'm for you guys. So look, okay. These are the cheerleaders in question for the Minnesota Vikings. At this point, you know what? I've not watched football in quite a long time, consistently. I watched Super Bowl, a little bit of that, although the halftime show sucked. Kendrick Lamar and his bell bottoms and his little girl jeans. Anyway, I have not been watching football that much because they've done so much to turn me off. And I was a Vikings fan because they drafted Randy Moss. Randy Moss, y'all know from Rand, West Virginia, my original hometown. My whole family's from Rand. So when Randy Moss got drafted, my whole family on both sides were glued to the TV. Glued. Everybody's on the phone with each other. Everybody's talking at the same time. My mom's side and my dad's side all were glued to the TV when Randy Moss got drafted. So ever since then, I was a Vikings fan because the Vikings drafted Randy. That's the only reason. But now we got not one, but two male LGBT, element of P, X, Y, and Z cheerleaders on the Vikings. I can't do nothing with it. Okay, no need for the music, but you see what's going on here. You know what? You know what's happening? Can I just be totally honest about what's happening here? This is not the NFL trying to be woke, in my opinion. This is the NFL catering to a particular part of the fan base that wants this. That's what I've come to realize. It's not a grand conspiracy. It's not them trying to push LGBTQ LMNOP on us. It's them trying to satisfy some of their big ticket people who go to the games. Guys that buy season tickets, it's them. It's them that's causing this. That's why. Because if it's about, look, if you want to service the fans, you're not going to put these guys out there if the majority of the fans or none of the fans want it. Some of the fans want these guys to be out there. Okay, a guy like me, I want her to be out there. Yeah, that's for me and guys like me. Okay, straight men, we want her to be out there. Okay, that's perfect. But some of y'all like the boys. That's what the bottom line is. Some of y'all like them boys, and that's why they out there. Okay, so y'all need to get put on an island somewhere and just have your own entertainment. Y'all can have drag queen story time, male cheerleaders, all of that over there on that island over there. Okay, that's what's going on. That's what's happening. It's them. They're the reason why you got the male cheerleaders. And not just the guys that is like, you know, back in the college days, they would be helping the cheerleaders. The women do the, you know, all the stunts, the big boys, not them. You got the guys that's just like the girls. I'm good. I don't want to see none of that on my TV. I don't watch football that much anymore anyway. It's become kind of like WWE. I'm good. Don't worry about it. I'd rather do something else. Okay. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Hey, don't nobody want to call? I guess I'm kind of like talking a lot, so I guess you just want to hear me. It's fine. If don't nobody want to call, I'll just talk for the whole time and end it. I'll just talk for the whole 3 hours. It's totally fine. Don't worry about it. Tazante says Closet Island. Yes, Closet Island. That's what it is. Okay, Closet Island. Go over there on Closet Island and enjoy whatever you got going on over there. Joe says, no lie, my college roommate was a high school male cheerleader. He has a swole body and a gymnast fit, and he basically had a cheerleader harem. Shout out to Chris. It's guys like that exist. I know guys like that exist. These are not who I'm talking about, though. You know what I mean? Those guys that we just saw are not like your friend. You got guys that's like actually men, heterosexual, straight men who want to help the cheerleaders and then like to be around the girls. That ain't the same thing as these boys that look like girls. They are catering to a specific audience. But the guy you're talking about, yeah, I see guys like that. Guys built like Daniel Cormier, you know what I'm saying? Big, athletic. Those guys, that's a whole different ball of wax. Yeah, the anthem kneeling, the Colin Kaepernick stuff, a lot of the LGBT stuff that they put out on the field. It's no surprise that we've gotten to this point where we got not one but two LGBT, and I think there's also a transformer on the Carolina Panthers. Okay, bald head, LGBT black transformer on the Panthers, but on the Vikings, rather than having men that look like the Vikings, Leif Erikson type cats, rather than them, we got I don't even know what to call these dudes. I don't even know what the appropriate nickname for them is. Anyway, that's right, Sarah. Athletic supporters. Yeah, that's a whole different story than what is going on with them. The Sage says, ABL, did I see Jamie Oliver talking about Chuck Schumer and Imaginary Family? No, I did not see that. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it right quick. Jamie Oliver and Chuck Schumer, Imaginary Family. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it right quick. John Oliver. Okay, let's go ahead and check this out. Let's go here. Do we have sound?
Called out.
Sorry for the noise. RIP to the headphone users.
John Oliver called out Chuck Schumer for inventing a fictional New York couple and weaving them into his political narrative for years. Now, on the plus side, imaginary voters.
Okay, nah, this ain't. I don't want to hear from him. He not telling me the actual. There we go. Okay. Matter of fact, he is. Okay, let me start from the top. I got impatient.
John Oliver called out Chuck Schumer for inventing a fictional New York couple and weaving them into his political narrative for years. Now, on the plus side, imaginary voters are a lot easier to bus in on Election Day. Schumer has long referenced a supposed New York couple, Joe and Eileen Bailey.
They don't exist. Seriously, he invented them. Schumer first introduced the world to the Baileys in his 2007 book, Positively American, Winning Back the Middle-Class Majority, One Family at a Time. In it, he mentions the Baileys an astonishing 265 times in 264 pages.
Okay, in Schumer's defense, if he wanted Democrats from New York that sound normal to the rest of the country, fiction was his only option.
Pretty much. Wow, that's crazy. But listen, are you guys surprised that he would just make a couple up like that and reference them in his book? Are you surprised? I mean, a lot of the books that they put out are just garbage, and they're probably not even really meant to be read. They probably would prefer that you don't read these books. Hey, just buy the book because it's me that has, quote unquote, written it. Although they didn't write it, they didn't proofread it, they had nothing to do with it. They put their name on it, and then that's it. They go about their business. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that they did that. That's funny, though. Shout out to Chuck Schumer for the fake family in the book. Okay. Unknown caller, you don't lie. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Robert.
All right, what's happening?
Nothing much. So you were talking about like the chat GBT and all that?
Yeah.
So when I was doing my undergrad, I guess there was a lot of that going on. I didn't use that because for me, college was, pretty easy. Like right now, I'm about to go through a master's program. So supposedly that's supposed to be harder than undergrad, but I'm not really too sure about that. But anyways, I know one class that took one of the classes that I took. Almost all of them got failed because they used chat GPT. But I don't understand how these kids. I'm in my 40s, so I'm a lot older than a lot of the people that are going to college. But for me, it was fun to write, research papers and essays and stuff like that. Because like one of my semesters, because I did environmental safety, so it's a lot of environmental science classes that go along with that degree. And out of 5 classes, 4 I had to do like these big research papers that had a minimum of like 10 pages, per paper. And I never had an issue with, getting the numbers, getting my references or any of that stuff. So I don't understand what's going on with our youth. And I know we can see places like Chicago where you got Brandon Johnson, who was a principal, and he graduated kids that couldn't even read because he didn't want nobody to be left behind. And I think that we as a society, we need to we need to voice that, and we need to try to correct that because we got too many people in general. I'm black, but you already know how it is for us, because I think you posted a video a few years ago of one kid. He was about to graduate, and he was like the middle of his class or middle of his school, but he was like, he had an F, average, and that stuff just doesn't make sense.
Right, yeah. That was a crazy video. He had a 1.3 GPA, but he was ranked 60 out of 120 in his class. It's crazy. Yeah. But a lot of these kids, they can't read. It's a mess. And when they're using the AI, it compounds the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I just wanted to let you know. Yeah, because we were using Blackboard, but now we're using Canvas, and supposedly that can track, your keystrokes and all that stuff whenever you take tests. But And that's all I want to talk about.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah.
Shout out to the caller. All right, shout out to you guys. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Yeah, man, like kids can't read at all, which is why I was playing that video earlier of them out there in Baltimore, the white liberals in Baltimore protesting. Is like, what are you protesting? Why are you protesting Donald Trump? The kids can't read. The kids can't read. Like, what's the hubbub? What are you actually protesting about? You're worried about the wrong thing. You got the wrong idea. What you're protesting is not going to help anything. How about protest some of these schools and these parents that don't care about their kids' education? Education was so important for me as a kid because I knew that's ticket out of the hood. You have to become educated, and if you're not, you're gonna just stay there. I remember thinking that when I was young too. I was like, I don't want to be like these people here. I don't want to be like them. I'm not trying to be a loser. I'm not trying to be a bum. Let me get some education and get myself out of here, which is exactly what I did. But when people don't care about education, they just keep themselves on this low level of existence permanently. But I guess, it's more important things to be worried about, like Donald Trump and the Epstein files, other nonsense like that. I guess that's more important, right? Anyway, if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Brian says, it's funny how LGBT can trigger so many snowflakes. What does that mean? What do you mean by that? That's a really blanket statement. You're trying to be funny, trying to play on what conservatives say, but what are you actually saying when you say that? Be specific with what you're saying. 301, you don't lie. Who am I speaking to? 301, hello. Going once, going twice. Okay, was it me? I'm not sure if that was me with the sound. Okay, let's go. 541, you're the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what up, ABL? Hey, this is Matt over here in Bend, Oregon. I call every now and again. I just wanted to call tonight because you were talking about the trades, and I think it's a great idea, man. I think it's maybe one of the last ways to get away from some of the automated stuff that's coming our way. I'd imagine you'd probably agree a little bit on that.
100%. And I've been saying that for a long time, that the trades are going to be the way forward because you have to have a human being that can do it. And you can do that for a very long time. Even if you have no job, like you work for a company, you could do it on your own. You could do it for yourself. These skills are good to have in general, even if you're not actively using it to make money. It's a good thing to do.
True story. Yeah, and I was also, I have a buddy of mine that keeps posting pictures because he's a lineman, so he's on those huge towers working on stuff. And I know he's not quite a journeyman yet, but he's still making really good money. He's working with somebody. He's over in the Idaho. Where is he? No. I said he was in Spokane right now, I believe. So there's a little bit of movement in the job. But I was like, crap, man. And then I was kind of looking into schools, and there's National Lineman College or Lineman School, whatever you call it. There's like 5 of them, but one of them's in Idaho, so it's really close. So I'm just kind of trying to figure out how to do that. Because it's not horribly expensive, but then I've got to go back and forth, and I've got to afford maybe a place to live while I'm over there for the 4 days a week for like 3 months. So I don't know. Logistics, really.
Right, of course. You'll figure it out, because, hey, there's a way. Yeah.
Well, and it's just, like that guy you had on the video there, like he's right on, and my buddy even said it too. He's like, man, because he's just a touch younger than me, but I'm 46. And he was like, dude, he's like, if I'd done this right out of high school in the late 90s, he's like, I'd be square enough to retire real well, is what he said. So I was like, man, maybe now's the time to get with it. So.
Absolutely. Right on.
So, anyways, buddy. Yeah, I just wanted to call and say hi. Otherwise, man, I figured I'd call every now and again and say what up. I love the content, and yeah, just wanted to say hi from the West Coast.
Thank you for the call.
It's not all bad over here. We're not all liberals.
Hey, I'm glad to hear that, man. So shout out to you. Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
You too, man. I appreciate you.
All right, now.
All right, buddy. Night.
All right, shout out to the caller. Yeah, shout out to the left coasters who are cool, who are not with the crazy nonsense that happens over there on the left coast. It's always refreshing to hear that these people actually exist in the world, for sure. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Jeanine says, is journeyman lineman a male-dominated career? Yes. Any trade is male-dominated. But you can still do it. Like I said, I know a female underwater welder. Now, to be fair, she is 5'10" and a muscle mommy. She's looking like she could be a WWF right now. And I'm not even exact. I got to find that girl. I don't know where she at, but I came across her. I know her, but I came across her page. I don't know what her page is now, though. I didn't forget. But yeah, underwater welder, making big money, traveling all over the country, chilling, doing her thing. Yeah, so yes, these careers are male dominated, but you can't be a woman and do it. Just like nursing is female dominated, but there still are male nurses. My cousin told me, who's a nurse, my cousin was like, she had a male nurse one time she worked with, and she thanked God for that, man. And because he came through and was really, really a good nurse. Okay, so yeah, you can do these things if you're good at it. It doesn't really matter if you're male or female, but typically people want to do things that make more sense with their personality. Women are more good at nurturing, caring, able to understand people without them talking. They're good caretakers. So that's why they get into nursing a lot. And men are good with putting themselves in danger, doing high risk activities, which is why they're going to be your linemen and all the military, all the police, fire, all the dangerous fields are going to be male dominated. Truck driving, all of that. Nah, not the underwater basket weaver. Not an underwater basket weaver. Hey, you know what? If you're going to go to college to get a degree or any kind of school and get a degree, rather than underwater basket weaving, you should get a degree or a skilled trade certificate in underwater welding. That'll go a lot further than underwater basket weaving, for sure. For sure. Eugene says, I guess that dental technician is equally open to women. I mean, all the careers are open to whatever gender, but it's just a matter of who wants to do what. Okay, if you want to be a nurse as a man, you could do it, but do you want to be a nurse? You know? Hold on. Daryville Day says, we have women working on cars where I work. Hey, I go to Ford out there in Cleveland, Tennessee, and they got a young lady in there. I could tell that she's like the head honcho. I could tell by the way she operates and moves. I'm watching what's going on with the politics of the office, sitting there waiting on my car. I could tell she has a lot of rank and she does good with the cars. Yeah, you got some really good female mechanics out there. Especially, listen, my favorite female mechanics, give me a nice buzz cut bull dagger. A nice buzz cut bull dagger, a real bull dagger. Not somebody trying to be a man, but somebody that is knowing who they are. Might have been a tomboy growing up, might have been raised by their dad or something. They're great with cars. Fantastic. 100% fantastic. So shout out to the true bull daggers, the genuine bull daggers that are good with cars. You guys are the best. Several cops shot in Virginia. Did that just happen? Or, okay, where is this at? Multiple law enforcement officers have been shot in Southern Virginia. Where at? Pennsylvania? Oh, okay. They think it just happened? Or about, they were serving a warrant. Okay. That's out there by closer to Roanoke, Danville. Okay, that's out my neck of the woods. 58. Yeah. Well, they were in Gretna, which is way north of Danville. Not far from Roanoke. That's out there by Hodge twins and them. They from Martinsville, so that's right there in their neck of the woods. Where they from, but they don't live out there right now. So hopefully nobody dies as a result of that shooting that just happened out there in Virginia. The fishermen make good coin. Fishermen, they do pretty well depending upon where they are, depending upon how they operate. It all depends. If I'm gonna be in the water, I'd rather would be on the oil rig to make a lot of money rather than fishing. But you can make a lot of money doing fishing. It just depends on what scale you do it. The Faroe Islands out there, what's that? Denmark, Norway, 80% of their economy is fishing, if I'm not mistaken. Or 90% of the exports is from the fishing industry. Leslie says, I was a tomboy growing up, climbed trees, etc. No one said, oh, she must really be a boy. None of that. Exactly. I know a girl that is very like a lot of the girls I know a lot of people. So let's just say that. I know a lot of people in general. But a lot of the young ladies I know that are like really, really pretty Instagram models and whatnot, a lot of them were raised by their dads, by their mom and their dad. What I hear quite a bit is the mom and the dad had like 4 girls. They were trying for a boy. So one of the girls winds up being treated by like a boy by default, but not totally. So one girl I know, raised by her mom and dad, daddy's girl, and the dad will like have her out in the garage working on cars with him. So now she likes to do stuff like that, but she's very, very, very feminine too. Just because you might have been a tomboy when you were a child, just because you like to work on cars and do some boy things as a child does not mean that you're gay. It doesn't mean that you're transgender or anything like that. But now, 2025, if you engage in those activities, if you do things like that, they want to say, oh, well, she thinks she's really a he. She's really a boy. No, just let them live as children. Let them experience life. Let them explore different things that they enjoy to do. Okay, she's a girl. She's not working on cars. She likes fashion. Let her experience that. Guide her along the way. And then when she grows up, she can make a decision. But don't try to say when she's 12 years old, like Dwayne Wade's son, that he's all of a sudden a girl now because he's soft. That's not how that works. Because maybe the boy is soft at 10 years old, but he's going to grow up and not be soft anymore. But you took away his decision to be an adult and become somebody that he wants to be because you decided for him at 10 years old that he's going to be transgender. You see, that's kind of what's going on. NKM says that Alaskan crab fishermen make like 100,000 in 3 months, but it's 3 months of straight 16-hour work days, no days off. That's fine. Hey, man, like I said, sacrifice. Sacrifice. It's totally fine. I got no problem with that. I was going to be a firefighter, and I knew it would cut my life short. But what am I going to do? Just sit around and be broke, be a bum? I rather would have my life cut short by 10 years than to be a crack smoker on the street, living my life that way. I don't want to be just on the street smoking crack until I'm 80 years old. That's not life worth living. I'd rather would live to the fullest, raise children, have a family, and have a shorter life than to smoke crack for 80 years and die. Does that make sense? Okay. Robert Bray says, ABL looking for a big bat to change the oil in the F-150. Hey, I want her to be there because she going to make it happen. She going to change the brakes. She going to do all the service. Alignment, brakes, oil change, a recall, fix, everything within 45 minutes and get it right back to me. That's what I'm into. Dude says, do I think if you had to, you could become a firefighter now at this age? I'm a little bit too old. 40 years old, I'm a little bit too old because the whole point to becoming a firefighter, well, part of it was you get a pension when you retire. After like 20 years, 25 years, my dad had a pension, but he started when he was like 31. So he retired at like 53, 54 or something like this, and he was able to get a pension. But I don't want to be in my 60s still in office or, pardon me, in the department. The reason why I said office is because once you advance in your career, you could do office work. You could be a captain or a chief or something like this, battalion chief, the chief of the whole situation. You could be a captain, something like that. And at that point, you go to the office. You're not on the truck anymore. But as you get older, man, being on that truck is rough on your heart. So I wouldn't do that right now at my age. 425, you're online. Who am I speaking to?
Oh my goodness, you answered my call. My name is Elisa. I'm calling from Washington State. And I was just listening to the part where you were talking about women that know how to do stuff. Like work on a car. Oh, excuse me. Anyhow, and fix things and shoot. That's Sydney Sweeney. This goes back to last week and the week before where Sydney Sweeney was in the news for American Eagle, blah, blah, blah. If you were to look at the videos where she's shooting and, working on her car, that's Americana. And something else I wanted to mention about Americana. American Eagle jeans weren't even made in America. I don't know if people did the research before the stocks went up and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I believe in advertising and sex sells and all that beautiful stuff, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? About the stuff not made here in America, even though they're called American Eagle.
I mean, I get it, but it's kind of hard to find anything made in America anymore, especially stuff like clothing.
You are so right about that. But I do my research, and it is hard. But every now and then, actually more often than not now, I don't know why, but I'm finding more stuff that's made in, Turkey, Bangladesh, Vietnam. You got to do your research. That's the thing, though. That's not easy to do. It takes time, and I'm not working right now, so I got the time, which, a lot of people can't say, I guess.
Right. I understand 100%.
Anyhow, that's all I wanted to say. Good for Sydney Sweeney. Proud of her. She rocks. Watch those videos of her. She's cool. Go America. Thank you for everything. I think you're cool. I've been listening to you and watching your videos since you had about 760 followers.
Oh, wow.
I just think you're cool.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. You're
yes.
very, I couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much for your being so supportive for so long.
Oh, thank you.
Alrighty.
I'm so nervous.
It's all right.
You have a good night.
All right, now. Thank you for the call.
All right. Bye-bye.
Shout out to the caller. Hey, way back in the day, you talking about 2015, 2016, when I first was getting started. Shout out to you guys who were over on the Facebook back in the day, way back when I was streaming on Facebook. In the early days, like 2014, I was trying to stream on Facebook saying, hey, friends and family, please watch my stream. Please watch me. So shout out to you guys who've been there from the beginning. Y'all know I couldn't do it without you. All right, that's going to be a wrap for me. You guys have been great. I was talking to a lot tonight, so I didn't get a whole lot of calls, but it's fine. I'll be back again live on Saturday. Same bat time, same bat place, 8 p.m. Eastern time to right around right now, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm live on the Instagrams. Shout out to you guys who were on Instagram live last night. I appreciate y'all for that. That was a good time. I always enjoy the Instagram live streams. And eventually, I'm going to try to do a Facebook live stream as well, probably on the same day I do the Instagram one. I might try to do the two phones, but I don't know. I like having one phone available if I need it that's not tied up by the stream. But we'll see if I can make it happen. Maybe I'll do a tablet or something in front of me I don't know. We'll see. But for sure, Instagram live on Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The streams on YouTube are Wednesday, Saturday, 8 to 11 Eastern Standard Time. But that'll be a wrap for me. Shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for joining. If you like what you heard tonight, if you enjoyed the content in general, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. And before I wrap it on up, put the bow on top, I want to thank y'all for being the best audience anywhere on these internets. As always, without you, there is no me. Thank you to the mods for keeping the trolls in check. I appreciate y'all for that as well. And thank you to everybody for watching, retweeting, super chatting. Without you, like I said, there is no me. Okay, I got all super chats. I believe I got one more here. Thank you to Dan Vicious, who says, 1998, I used to steal 40 ounces, hitting down my Jinkos. Wow, that is a 98 thing right there. And you know what? Hey, I'm not going to say I ever did that, but I am going to say that some guys did that in my neck of the woods, and some guys did wear Jinkos to do it. But I was a good boy. I never did nothing like that. I'm just saying, I have seen that happen. And I have seen these guys go to movies, sneaking through the back with a 40 in their Jinkos and be drinking the 40 in the movie theater. I have seen that, but I'm not going to say that I did it. I'm not gonna say that I did it because I was a good boy. But anyway, you guys are the best. I'll be back live on Saturday, but I'm here all the time putting out pre-recorded content. Please follow me on all the platforms. Follow me on YouTube, of course. You're right here. And also Instagram. Instagram is jumping right now. Facebook is jumping right now. And we just crossed 100,000 followers on Facebook, which is a great feat. Shout out to you guys on the Facebooks. So YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I'm trying to get TikTok, the hang of that. I'm going to go over there and dominate too. And also, please go to the website, anthonyblogan.com. But that'll be a wrap for me. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out and peace.